the next big pot.
Judge Emini scores a contest 112-115. Judge Paul Thomas 112-115. Judge Donald Trevor 113-115. The winner and the new Super Featherweight Champion of the world from Cambridge in Scotland, Ricky Burns. The dream comes true for Ricky Burns. A massive upset, a huge shot in the arm for British.
I laid out the blueprint. Yes, they gave him the decision. They gave him the fight. He beat me, but the blueprint is right there. Just look at it. I took it out of the vault and I handed it over to Canelo Alvarez.
Harrison's the biggest one inside boxing. I'm the new reaction to David Price. I've read Molly calling out on YouTube yet. I'll fight David Price any day of the week. We see you come from Liverpool. It's personal between me and you. I'm going to give you some serious big stick figure, okay? Alright, thanks.
Not brilliant, like I say, for centering yourself those communities. And Amir Khan gets the big fight with Pacquiao and the world champions, the lads that are coming through. It'll be a fantastic. I equate to the Kronk in America way back in the time.
You know what? Fuck Joe Gallagher. Fuck Joe Gallagher.
Fuck Joe Gallagher.
Fuck Joe Gallagher. Fuck Joe Gallagher. Fuck Joe Gallagher.
Fuck Joe Gallagher.
Fuck Joe Gallagher.
I got him in a cage right here. Not the cage.
The plan is to have El Jury knock Pacquiao out.
Yes, but I still got him in a cage. He listens to me very well. I'm going to let him listen.
Round 10?
Round 10 or 11. I'm going to let him go.
Now we have one other thing to do, and that's to fight Thomas Hearn. And I plan on breaking every bone in his body.
But what works is they're going to go and chase Leo Santa Cruz. I told them, and I told them on Wednesday, you're not going to get Santa Cruz. Like I told them, you're not going to get Martinez.
Now, coming to you live from the next big pot.
Welcome back to the next big pod. Episode 57. People thought that we wouldn't have even lasted to the third, but here we are. One time Showtime, FemiDom time. This is a preview of the weekend. I'm your host Brian King, on the call as Shep. Nate Summies will be raging and that, he'll probably fucking jump off directly. Sam's on and Cal's going to jump on. Andy Pops might jump on and off, but he's still suffering a severe calm down because he keeps sniffing that proper like a wee fucking junky bastard that he is. And don't know, we might put the link out on Twitter and just see how that goes, because I quite like doing that from time to time to just see how badly it goes. One time we done it, somebody from fucking Italy connected to us, so we'll see how it goes. But this is basically the preview show, the London card with Joshua and the fight, one of the best fights of the year in my opinion, Thurman, Porter. But we'll go into the London card first because we'll just get out of the way. I'll hold my hands up and admit it. I watched fucking one fight in this and I wasn't even paying attention to that. I went round to my mate's bit to watch. He asked me to get in and I went round. And as like normal people do, they were all getting battered full of drink and drugs. So I took my car, so I didn't even contemplate that because I like to keep myself clean. And I barely watched the George Groves fight. I was in and out of it. It wasn't great, in my opinion. The Joshua fight is what it is. Tommy Brazil was a bum. But that's really the only fight that I kind of watched. Groves 12th round decision. I picked a knockout, didn't I? Joshua, TKO the 7th round. Chris Eubank Jr. didn't even watch that because I knew it was just an absolute fucking total mismatch. He won in 4 rounds. John Wayne Hibbert. I mean, I see the thing with the John Wayne Hibbert one. I was going to pick that Scarpa in the Predictions League, and for some reason I didn't want to because somebody told me that he was Italian. He had never fought out of Italy, and I bottled it. But then it's one of the things where why shouldn't you have picked him? Because John Wayne Hibbert's basically fucking English level. He's not even British level, but I shot it. Dillian White, I get told stank the joint out. Khalid Jaffai, I don't know. He beat somebody I've never heard of. A go-go.
That wasn't even
fucking,
on a televised bit.
Was it? A go-go
No,
with a
it wasn't
first round
televised bit.
knockout. Ted Cheeseman beat somebody called Danny Little. Conor Ben, fuck Conor Ben, and Felix Cash making his debut against somebody that's only had one fight and it was a loss as well. So, wild days, I'll own up to you because I take it that most of you watched either all the fights or some of the fights. Sam, I know you watched fucking all the fights. Let's start off with the undercard. We can just get the undercard out of the way, then we can talk about Joshua and the Groves fight.
The first fight was Scarpa Hibbert. That was quite a good fight actually.
Was it?
Bit of a bloodbath.
Is that? See the pictures just keep posting on WhatsApp. Is that a picture of him?
No, that's Kevin Mitchell, isn't it? From the Linares fight. But yeah, Hibbert got his cunt kicked in. He was bleeding. And it was a nasty, nasty cut, which ended up stopping it. But I don't know if you noticed when you did watch the fights later on, like the ring was just covered in blood. Could have been probably stopped like a few rounds before because he was bleeding pretty bad. And it was nothing left in him. He was getting his cunt kicked in, so they just stopped it, which is fair enough. He was never going to win. It
was bad stitches he got, obviously, because he gets stitched up quite right away. Sometimes
it was a nasty
butterfly
cut.
stitch or something like that, but he was fucking right in there with a needle and thread.
It was a nasty cut, and it's a shame he couldn't realise his dream of winning a silver WBC title, really.
There was quite a good moment, Brian, where I think he got cut in the second round, and Froch went, it's not too bad, it's not over his eye, and then within 30 seconds he went, yeah, it's over his eye now. So it like completely opened up, and it started. But yeah, by the end it was like all across under his eyebrow, and so it's pretty nasty. I think it was a good stoppage by the ref. I think he didn't go down, did he? He just got the ref.
No, he took it over to the doctor.
Yeah, but it was yeah. For some reason, I think it was me, Brian, who told you not to pick the Italian because I think they're on a horrible run at the moment. They're like the Aussies, the Italians at the moment, but yeah, he looked quite useful, Scarpa. He was quite tall. He had good power, good jab. Good
but come on, shit. Hibbert is shit.
No, I know Hibbert's shit, but I mean, for that level, he actually looked all right. He might give some of those guys like Dave Ryan a good fight, in the future.
Garrido.
Yeah, Garrido, exactly. I don't mean like, he's going to be challenging for world titles, but he might be in some decent fights again if they bring him back. I wouldn't mind seeing him against someone like Tyrone Nurse or someone like that.
He's a similar fighter to Nurse, though, isn't he? In the well, not a similar fighter, but similar length, and they're both fucking lanky, skinny guys.
Yeah, but he looked like he had a bit more power, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, that'd be great.
He hurt Hibbert a few times, and Hibbert's pretty tough, even if he is a bit shit.
Yeah, I'd quite like him to fight any of the English or the British level guys. But obviously he's beat one of Eddie's guys, so we won't fucking see him again. He only brings them back when they lose.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why we haven't seen Garrido again, isn't it?
Yeah,
he's fucked up his brass title, hasn't he?
Yeah.
What was next? What do we have next after that?
I saw
it was Dillian White. Oh, mate, that was abysmal. Honestly.
20 stone he was.
He was absolute shit.
And how heavy was he for the Joshua fight?
18, I think.
So he's put on 2 stone.
He was about a stone heavier than the Joshua fight, I think they said, something like that.
But even at that, he's not a tall guy to be carrying that amount of weight.
Are you sure, Shep? Because I thought he looked in better nick than he did for the Joshua fight. He definitely has smaller tits. Anyway.
Really? I thought he looked fatter.
No, he looked much fitter than he did for.
Maybe I'm misremembering the Joshua fight then. I thought he looked pretty flat.
No, he looked awful in that Joshua fight. He had massive flabby tits. Like he looked slimmed down.
No, I'd see the thing with that with White though. He carries it well though. Like
because he's stocky, isn't he?
Aye, it's not like he's a fat bastard and it kind of slows him right down. He does think he carried well. But I mean, I seen him in Belfast for the Avalos fight, and he's no tall. He's a bulky fucker, but he's not tall for a heavyweight. So
what is he, Brian? He's like 6'1", 6'2", something like that.
He's something like that. I mean, I'm only about 5'6", 5'7", ain't I? But I noticed that he's no tall for like a heavyweight. Yeah, I would expect heavyweights now to be nothing less than 6'3", 6'4". But
he's about the same height as Carl Froch, and he's twice the weight.
Is Carl Froch?
He's 6'4", so.
He's 6'4".
Really? My jaws. Is that box rec? Because box recs fucking lie about everybody's height. That's one thing that they always do.
He's not 6'4".
No, that is box rec.
Vlad's only 6'7". He's no way he's 6'4".
No,
I've got a picture of Dillian White at the weigh-in with Joshua. He's at least 3 inches shorter than him.
Josh is 6'5".
6'6", I think. Yeah, he's at least 3 inches shorter than Joshua.
Yeah, because Fury and Vlad are both considerably taller than Joshua, aren't they? Like,
And we all know 3 inches is a fucking lot.
Yeah. You're telling me.
Right, so how was the fight? Aye.
Awful, mate. It was depressing from start to finish. There was not one enjoyable bit about it.
But
Sam, I haven't watched it, but I knew I recognised that name of the opponent, and it turned out it was that guy. It was that guy Bellew fought, wasn't it?
Yeah, I told you that the other week.
His comeback.
Yeah, Bellew.
Bellew fought.
Yeah, he knocked
Bellew fought him at Cruiser, Brian, like a year ago.
But anyway, Dillian White, he was just trying like dirty tactics as well, like forearms to the face and that. It was an ugly fight, and then after they was like, oh, well, he's glad to get some rounds under his belt. But like, no, if they think he's some elite heavyweight, which they're making out, he should be beating people like that with ease, not struggling for a few rounds to get into the fight. Like he was missing wildly, he looked slow. I know people can come to survive and do the rounds quite easily, but still.
In White's defence, Sam, would you say that he's a guy who sort of fights up or down to the level of his opponent?
I'd say White's shit.
Okay.
Simple as that.
Because I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt here. I think against a bigger opponent, he might, or a bigger name opponent, he might have been a bit more.
Every time I've seen him, bar that one round of their Joshua fight, he's been awful. Who did he fight in that Belfast club? Was it Nascimento? It was someone like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, that Brazilian, yeah.
He looked shit then. He looked shit against Minto, who took a dive.
And Campbell, do you remember the Campbell Coyle undercard?
That was Minto, wasn't it?
Was that Minto? Okay.
Yeah, he's just not very good.
Yeah.
Simple as that. He's just not very good. He's not. I would say he's not even British level. Dave Allen will give him a fight. I guarantee that now.
They've said they're lining him up for. He wants Chisora, doesn't he? That's the one I keep hearing about.
Chisora would beat him. I'm sure of it.
I don't know.
Even now, I think Chisora could beat him. Maybe he might be too lazy, but it wouldn't. Dillian White wouldn't piss it by any stretch. He wouldn't do what Pulev did, that's for sure.
Prime Chisora would have beaten the shit out of him, absolutely. And I think that says a lot that he's, I bet you that they say that the winner of White Chisora has earned the AJ shot, which is just an absolute joke. I mean, would any of them? Why isn't he looking at the likes of Pulev or winning a European title?
That's what I said. I says that Pulev wasn't acceptable for Femi, like for this fight coming up. But I've got to the stage now that his opponents are that shite. I would accept Pulev is like he's fighting November, December, because I feel as if Pulev would throw back.
It's got to be. If they've done a deadline for January the 9th for Parker, so it's going to be Parker. It has to be.
I thought he says it doesn't need to be until next March.
No, the IBF set a deadline today of January the 9th or 19th, so they're not going to go in November or January again.
November's
It's going to be Parker in the winter unless they can.
Say we'll take it in December.
Well, you say that.
But either way, we'll get onto that later anyway.
Sam, you say that, but the rumour today, we'll get onto it later. But the rumour today is that they're going after Vlad if Fury's out of the running now.
I don't think there's. We'll talk about this later on.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
More into it. What was next? What do they have next?
Right, so basically the fight was fucking trash.
Yeah, it was awful, mate.
So I don't want to kind of veer off too much, right? Because we'll obviously shit them later on. But did Eddie Hearn say anything about Dillian White after the fight with regards to his next opponents or that?
No, just that he's out again on July the 30th inning against an international opponent.
See, that's one thing I can say about Hearn, man. He'll with that, he'll get his fighters fucking busy all the time. He'll put the guys back out, and see, even if it's some bums, it's better constantly being out fighting bums than only fighting like maybe twice a year and fighting shite. So see if he keeps them busy fighting bums, then fair enough. It's when it comes to like just fighting bums all the time and then you're getting a world title fight, but it's one thing I like about Hearn.
That's what will happen, though, Brian.
Well, I know it will, but at that point we'll bitch about it. But Hearn at least keeps his fucking guys active. I mean, I shit in Hearn all the time. I probably hate him more than anybody. But it's one thing, he'll get his guys fucking paid and he'll get them constantly fighting. So
if Hearn's got
too much positivity for me. Too much positivity.
If Hearn's got a long-term plan for a fighter, i.e. Dillian White, so it's an easy fight for Joshua in the future, then he'll get him on the next 5 shows. But if he doesn't, then he seems to be one. He seems to be one of these. Like when he's got a plan, he'll just pump him on every show, whether we want it or not. And who wants to see Dillian White in a 6-round snoozer against these guys? He's not going to boost ticket sales anywhere other than London and anywhere when Joshua's not fighting. Because on his own, without Joshua, he's not a draw. Like he can't be. I know he's got his fanboys and stuff that say that he's going to beat Joshua in the rematch, but he's definitely not going to beat Joshua in the rematch. and that rematch is not acceptable, and anyone that accepts it can fuck off and die.
Unless White gets a significant win before that fight, like beats a genuine contender, a guy like Parker or a guy like I don't know, one of the sort of proper contenders in the division, then yeah, it's absolutely not acceptable.
You saw, didn't you, on the fucking when he was in the telecast or whatever it was for in the studio for Takam Parker, it's like sitting there smug saying, "I'd beat them both." Joe and Ed Robinson said, "Well, this is a better win than anything Joshua's got," and he looked a bit stunned and said, "Nah, I'd beat them both." And it's like, well, you beat Minto.
Who's your best win, mate? Yeah, exactly.
Minto's your best win, and now you're saying you can beat Takam, who he's a bit limited, but he's fucking tough.
Takam would beat White quite easily.
I'd pick Takam and Parker. So yeah. I just think it's the British, like, it's this thing where we just love these domestic grudge matches, but why when there's so many...
Come on, fucking Wales and England, come on the Brits,
After Dillian White, we had the Conor Benn.
Sensational, as always.
Oh, it was quite a good knockout, to be fair, against some bloke they found off the street, just sleeping rough. He needed gas and air, that lad, so it was a bit disgusting.
Sam, right? One sec, sorry, because I didn't watch this fight. Right? I don't think I've actually seen Conor Benn yet properly. I've just seen one of the knockouts, I think, on his debut. But what are they trying to do with him? How do you build a guy? The Asylum brought this up the other day, which I thought was a good point. How are you supposed to build a prospect when they're on pay-per-view every time? I don't.
You say this, but you can guarantee I would put a lot of money on this that Joshua's pay-per-views are getting a bigger audience than Sky's normal show. Like that one at Leeds, the July 30th, will have maybe a quarter of what Joshua got on the weekend.
That is true.
I guess, but then you're limiting.
He's got a bigger platform to start with, and these mongs will pay for it. So he's got a bigger platform than he would if he was on normal.
And they'll remember his name, won't they? I suppose.
Exactly. Like you've seen people since going, "Oh, Conor Benn's going to be a future world champion." It's like what
Conor Benn will beat Eubank right now.
Yeah.
Conor Benn's in the mix at middleweight, isn't he? I mean, I've got him top 10 now. After that, he's got 100% knockout ratio.
20 point of difference, and he's fucking middleweight champion.
Cal, did you see this one, mate?
No, I've seen the fucking knockout. I'm buying it. We're decent, but I'm not watching Conor Benn. He's a fucking disgrace. Him and his dad need to get a fucking room.
His dad went there, so.
I see, Cam, you missed last week's episode. I discussed the nonsense within boxing. We discussed this last week.
Bad, isn't it?
Oh, fucking filthy, man.
But no, I'm not watching him till he's in a proper fight. And to be honest, after watching him, I can't remember the fella's name, but he was someone that were 2-5 in his last fight. I watched that because it were on normal telly, and he was terrible. Like I think he lost one of the 4 rounds, and this guy were 2-5, and then. So he's going to be terrible. He can't even win a British unless they manoeuvre him very carefully, and he'll just be a filler. Like I don't know, fucking.
Well, the only thing you can say in his favour is he is still a young pup, and so they can move him slow and just keep him.
What was he like as an
rounders.
amateur?
Did he have like 7 fights, I think, lost 2.
Right. I don't know if there's much to work with, to be honest.
They might make something of him, but he's never going to be a world beater.
Get him in Gallagher's gym, and building champions since 1995. They have been.
I can't remember if I'm missing one, but I think after this we went to Eubank Jr. versus Basil Lindora.
Show some fucking respect for Felix Cash.
That was after.
Oh right, really?
Yeah, that was after.
That was after the Eubank fight.
Yeah, he was just a filler. He was just.
What, Felix Cash was part?
Felix Cash was the co-main. Thank you.
Who the fuck's Felix Cash?
He's just another one of these prospects that no one knows exist.
But he's not
that
was his debut,
yeah, he made his debut. It's just like Ted Cheeseman.
Let me guess where he's from. Oh, is it the south somewhere?
I'm not sure.
Another one of fucking Essex boy with no talent there. He just fucking pushes down our throats.
Shep, did you watch Eubank? Because I know you're a bit of a fan.
Yeah, I watched the Eubank one. And I didn't watch any of it live, but yeah, I mean, like Doran's, he's a prize fighter level, isn't he? It's a fun fight for 4 rounds.
I think Blackwell would have fucking mutilated Doran.
Yeah, of course he would. Like Doran would never win a British title.
Well, he's part time.
Exactly. Like they didn't mention that till halfway through, did they? They went, "Oh, he's what is he, an electrician or something?" And they
Yeah,
were
he
like,
took 4 weeks off work.
He's got 4 weeks off work for this one, Jim. And it's like, right, a minute ago you were talking about the winner getting Golovkin, and now it turns out one of them's a fucking electrician.
Imagine if Doran won and then fought Golovkin.
Exactly. It's like, I mean, I know Doran, that fight he had with that Irish guy last time out. I know that was fun, fun fight, good knockout. But does that get you a co-main on a pay-per-view now?
He got dropped though.
Yeah,
he got dropped in that fight against Keeler.
And
it's like no one had heard of either of them before the fight. They just fucking threw them on because it's a fun fight for the hardcores that Eddie likes to give us. He just finds two obscure kids from some fucking random title and says, "This is one for the hardcore, proper trade fight." Cheers, Eddie.
To be fair,
he picks two guys you've never heard of, and then goes like, "Oh, you haven't heard of them? I thought you were hardcore, mate." And they could literally be like anyone out of any gym, couldn't they? It is pretty clever. But yeah, Sam, I remember Cal in the prize fighter. I think Doran won it, didn't he? Was it last year?
Yeah, I think was that the one where he weren't a favourite at all. I think he was like
that's what I mean. He was like a rank outsider for prize fighter. For fuck's sake, like he wasn't even favourite for prize fighter, and they were surprised when he won it. And I mean, great. It's another win for Eubank, but is this even in Eubank's top 5 wins? No.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe it is.
It would be. Because who was he beat really? Chudinov would be the top one.
Spike.
Yeah,
Spike, Blackwell,
Blackwell,
and then take your pick out of all the bums after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's better than the fucking his first 15 fights he had, because at least he did come out and try.
He did. Yeah, to be fair to him, he was throwing right to him.
He held his own for a couple of rounds. It was only when the body shots got to him.
Was it Eubank just fighting like a twat? I could never tell.
I think he just held his own. Eubank didn't win them opening rounds clearly. Obviously, he won them, but it wasn't like Doran was like completely overmatched from the start.
You know what Eubank reminds me of? It's when you play like Street Fighter or Tekken or something. And you've got it on super easy mode, and you're just trying to do special moves the entire time. And do you know what I mean? And then you end up getting like, you suddenly look down and you're like half your life's
Hadouken!
Yeah, but the other guy's just doing like low punch on you repeatedly, and you're trying to do like a super fucking spinning bird kick, and you can't quite pull it off. That's what.
Is that not your wife that does that?
Yes, mate.
I do. I might be in a minority of people who listen to this, but I actually quite like his style and all that fucking posturing and stuff after he's hit. So I like that. It's fucking show business.
It's fun. Yeah.
But in terms of beating anyone significant, I don't think that'll help him. Like, I think it's good when he's fighting people that he's gonna beat, but if he tries that against Golovkin, he's just gonna get fucking.
Well, I tweeted afterwards, Cal, after I saw it, that I think eventually he'll get Nate Campbelled by someone, because he'll like invite them, or he'll do a Mayorga. He'll invite them to give him a clean shot. And then when he's actually at world level, the guys will be able to hurt him when they land clean on him. And he'll do something stupid and get chinned by a guy. Maybe not Golovkin, but he'll get chinned by someone at some stage he shouldn't lose to. And it'll all get a bit embarrassing. But I feel like watching that, if he fights anything like that at all, or anything like he did against Spike, Golovkin is going to absolutely smash him.
It's just with a jab, just with a simple jab, we'll pick him apart.
Yeah.
He's so when he runs in with that uppercut, he's just going to get jabbed in the face all night.
But equally, he does have a really good chin, so you could end up like that's why it's such a dangerous fight, because
I've argued this before with you. Yeah. I don't think his chin's anything like his old man's was, because he dipped in that Blackwell fight. His knees dipped a few times when Spike hit him. When Eubank hits it, when Golovkin hits him repeatedly, he'll go. Whether he'll go down for a 10 count or whether he gets stopped on his feet, who knows? But he's going to get stopped one way or another. He's not going 12 in that fight. No way. He's too open to be.
And if he does, he'll never be the same again. The amount of punishment he'll take. Yeah.
Obviously,
he'll end up standing worse than his old man.
Now I really want the fight because it's been like talked about and stuff. But it's only because it's been talked about. Like, this is such a bad move from Team Eubank. If they actually fight Golovkin, it's such a bad move.
We'll go into that, man.
I'll go. I'm
going.
If it's in
That's what I mean. I want to go, but it's just like in terms of his career development, it's a fucking horror.
No, we'll go into that because there's a couple of fucking reasons for that. But see what I seen with the Eubank fight. All I seen was him just basically Dorrans was basically flat-footed, and he wasn't coming forward. He just kind of like stalling about, just basically stalling about. Maybe it's that I only caught it when he got back. His cunt kicked in, and like Eubanks just strutting about like a fucking peacock with his arms down, just looking at him and just throwing the odd. You know how like Frotch would throw a jab for his waist, and he would throw them, and he'd move about and just do his wee flashy move and that. And there wasn't really much. Then he'd do the fucking bolo punches and combos, like hundreds of punches like throwing. And like Dorrans was just standing there. There was absolutely no movement to him, and I didn't think Eubank looked good. I honestly, I don't mind gaffing a rant if I die, good to hear, but I honestly don't know what casuals see. I mean, I tweeted this half an hour ago. Is there football casuals that sit here and say they fucking Iceland players, man, they're fucking well better than Messi and all that? Surely boxing can't be the only sport where there is so much fannies that don't know nothing about the sport but seem to have this factual opinion about themselves.
Yeah, but the thing is with boxing is because it appears to them to be so few far between. They could watch every single Sky show and think they are hardcore when they're not. They're watching maybe 9 shows a year and they think that's the only boxing.
But Eubank didn't even look good with a guy that poor. Doran isn't good. Eubank didn't look great.
No, but to a casual, the amount of punches he throws, and he looks quick, and the little stupid shit that he does, he does look quite impressive. If you don't know what you're talking about, to look from the outside, you think, fuck me, he looks quite good. If you dig a bit deeper, if you scratch the surface, you can see all that. Like, they're not going to notice him leaving his feet when he throws a punch or that. They don't see things like that.
Fuck me, man. I was sitting with people that knew that I do a podcast, and they know that I'm really into my boxing, and they were saying stuff, and they're like, "Oh, why am I even saying that?" You obviously know, and I need to be in a certain sort of mood and environment to be able to fucking sit with casuals and take their shite, right? But fuck me, I was sitting with them and I was on my phone most of the time, so they must have thought I was fucking quite ignorant, but I just couldn't be arsed listening to them. They were saying the most stupidest stuff. He's looking great, isn't he? He's looking great. Oh, I've been fucking hyped for this George Groves Murray fight. I fucking love him. And oh, Eubank, he's looking amazing, isn't he? Joshua, man. Oh, and I'm like, oh, please, man, just fucking end me now. You know I spend fucking hours on end retweeting cunts like you on Twitter. I'm like, get me out of here. And after the fucking fights are all finished, there's like, I'm away. And I stood up like, you know what? They sit here, man. We're going to get full of Charlie. You know what? They had fucking millions here. I was like, nah. I just walked out. I couldn't bear fucking like. It's all right, maybe retweeting them on Twitter, but see when you sit in that environment and they're just talking mad shit, and I'm like, get the fuck. And I don't want to be one of them boxing fucking snobs that you think that you're better than every cunt, but I'm literally better than them, and I don't want to be around them. And that's how, like, see when I do go to boxing shows, and see when I've met up with likes of Mark and Matt and Dave Shaw and fucking Cy and all that. See when you actually sit around people that actually know what they're talking about, it's fucking magic. You don't get embroiled in hundreds of fights. You know how when you meet up with people at Fitba, you just fucking knock each other's fucking teeth in. Right? You don't get around with boxing, it's fucking good. But see casuals, man, oh, I want you to fucking die. Just look at my face, fucking die, man. Oh, Eubank, man, he looked trashy, and we're going to go into the Eubank fucking Golovkin later on, but fuck me, man, I want that to happen, because I want to see this fucking cunt, I want him executed. I don't want to fucking every time go into Sky and turn on and see somebody that's been molested after father. I don't need to see that. I've not got to die anymore. But see, my dad molested me. I wouldn't want one anyway. And this is what's fucking happening. Sky is like the new BBC. They're breeding paedophiles. That is what's happening now with Sky. I do not want this.
Can we move on to Groves Murray now?
We're moving on.
Can I just say quickly to finish on Eubank? Because yeah, Brian, I agree with you. A lot of the stupid shit he does, you just think, yeah, like, why are the casuals sort of falling for this? When you know, he drops his hands against a guy who is English level, and it's like, yeah, it's not that impressive, mate. If you're supposed to be, you know, the heir to your dad, you shouldn't be having any problems with, you know, you should be able to win this with one hand. The one thing that I thought was quite cool was at the beginning where he just didn't move out of his corner. That was pretty. Do you remember? Doran sort of went to the center of the ring and then like looked at the ref, and Eubank hadn't moved, and he was just completely still. And then the ref like went over and had a word with him and was like, "Yeah, you've got to move, mate." I thought that was pretty funny because he was just like pointing at his feet, like, "Come over here." But yeah, I don't know. If he did that against Golovkin, imagine if he tries this shit against Golovkin. It would be so funny. Like, imagine if he does that, you know, that little wobble he does when, if the guy catches him with a counter or whatever, he sort of bends his knees and does like, you know, sort of does like the twist and drops his hands down. Imagine if he does that against Golovkin. He'll just get like a combination, will just absolutely smash him before he gets back up. And it'll be a knockout of the year because he'll be doing something stupid. Like, he'll look into the crowd and sort of disagree with someone who says something, and then just get chinned from behind or whatever. But yeah, anyway, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself, waiting for the highlight knockout.
Fucking bums, man. But right, we're going to the main event. No, sorry,
Groves
no,
Murray,
man, no. Fuck, man, I'm way ahead of myself here. I'm fucking seriously, see, cause I don't ever get a day off, and I took a day off the day. Like my manager phoned me to come in and work, but I blanked him, so I could just, because I like having a Tuesday off, because I've got shit today, then I can go to the cinema and all that, and I just like it.
Who'd you go to the cinema with, mate?
I fucking took my mom, didn't I? Like a fucking saddle, but she paid for my fucking lunch. Yeah. I go to the cinema.
I feel sorry for you.
No, but see, basically when I go to the cinema on a Tuesday, I've got shit to do in the morning. I go to the gym and all that, and I've got other things that I don't need to fucking tell you. What I do is I finish up what I've got to do, and I just go to the cinema myself. A lot of the time I don't like fucking going to the cinema with other cunts, because all they do is talk shit to me. I just want to sit there and watch a fucking film, so I'll go myself. But because I felt sorry for my mum, even though everybody knows I fucking can't stand her and I hate her, I was like, do you want me to take you to the cinema? And she's like, I'll take you for your lunch. I was like, you fucking will take me for my lunch, won't you fucking slag? But it was a shit film. But see, the fact that I don't ever get time off, and I'm always
a dead man's joined the call. Alex Morris.
Hello.
He's alive.
Crack on, boys. Don't let me interrupt.
The call of Femi's brought him back. Casual.
Right, anyway, move on to Groves Murray. No one cares when you went to the cinema.
Suck my balls. Anyway, Independence Day 2 is fucking absolutely garbage. Don't go and see it. Will Smith's fucking kid on son in it. It's a wee fucking knob jockey, and it's cheesy as fuck. Saw that fucking mad. Go Team USA!
What did your mum think of it?
She said that it was shite, and the first one was better, but I actually hated the first one and all. I thought it was fucking terrible, and I couldn't go.
Alex, can you shut
Listen, I'm coming. As I said last night, we're coming for the fucking streets. We talk about anything and everything. This isn't just a boxing fucking podcast. We'll talk about anything. Press pass. I hope you die. Right, let's move on. Groves and Murray. I watched this fight, but I didn't watch it. It was in the background, and I was like, this fight's boring as shit. I've all just gone to Twitter and slagged people, which is what I done. So yous can fucking chin away and talk about like Murray Groves. How was it? Because people say that Groves looked good, but if what I seen was, if Murray had any sort of power, Groves was getting fucking knocked out, because he shipped some serious fucking punches, and I don't think he looks any better, because what I seen in Groves is he is at his worst when he's thrown a punch, because see, when he throws a punch, he never keeps his hands up, he never pulls his hands back, he's always got his hands down to throw another punch, and Murray tagged him a few times, and I'm telling you, he didn't learn his lesson with fucking with Frotch, because he went into Jack and done the exact same thing. Jack clipped him and put him on his arse, and the minute he gets in with somebody with any fucking decent power, I don't even know who's got real power, super middleweight, but, well, Jack's not really the
Mundo? Team Mundo.
God, fuck Mundo. He's going to get knocked out. I like Shane McGuigan. I don't agree with people saying that he's got the old George Groves back. I don't, because he's making the same fucking mistakes. Or maybe that is the old George Groves, but he looks sloppy as fuck to me, and I'm not giving him credit for like winning 10-2 against Murray, because Murray's basic as fuck and he's not a super middleweight either. Groves was fucking massive in there. Groves should have been stomping him. But carry on, people, because I didn't really see it.
He looked better than he has done recently. It's the best he's been since Frotch won, anyway. Which isn't, I mean, I know he hasn't been good in between them fights, but it's definitely the best he's been. In bits of it, he was really good. Putting his punches together nicely. He looked strong. It wasn't until the last sort of 3-4 rounds when he started tiring bad.
Did he ever hurt Murray at any stage? I didn't.
Yeah, he had Murray out on his ass a few times. I thought they were going to pull him out at the end of I think it was 8th or 9th. Yeah, Murray was spent.
What Holding was saying
Alex,
about
mate, your mic's really shit.
You're very crunchy, mate.
Drop off, then come back on.
You sound like you're gargling water, you prick.
Maybe he's drowned.
Right, but anyway, Cal, did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it. He was all right. Fucking. If you would have said to me he's going to win 118, 110 on all 3 cards, I would have said, fucking hell, that's a decent performance. Seeing as, other than Golovkin, Murray's always quite competitive when he steps up. Like, he does enough to lose, but it was all right. Fucking nothing to shout home about. But it does make me wonder with Groves that this weight must be a bit of an issue, because he tires in every single fight. It's not even like And he obviously trains because he's a professional fucking athlete. So
he never looks fat, does he? Or like
no, he looks in great shape, but it must be the weight because he is a big fucker.
Yeah.
It must be really, really hard. He must be like starving himself, and then he just has nothing for them last 3 or 4 rounds. So,
but he's fucked if he goes up to 175.
Well,
he get eaten alive up there.
He came in at like half a pound under as well, so he might crash it the last few days.
He did the same against Froch. He was wearing his beats, weren't he, when he weighed in against Froch for the second fight?
That was the second fight with Froch. The big story was that you could see Froch saying it to him on the scales at the weigh-in. He was saying, "You fucked it over and over." Groves was nearly a pound under. I think he came in at like 167, and a few people went, "Oh, he's in really good shape," and then they went,
They've done that with Froch too as well. But I thought he maybe done that so.
I can see that you've crashed it. You've starved yourself, and Groves said no, but then obviously he did slow down and get caught in that fight, and maybe it's a problem with his diet. I don't know why you'd consistently crash the weight like that, unless like you say, he's really draining himself.
But other than that, he's pretty good. It's always the same with him though, isn't it? He looks really good for a few rounds and then just tires. That's the story of his career. But I'd still pick him to beat Chudinov. Pick him probably to beat Sturm, even though he's probably banned for a while.
He'll pick up a version of a world title. He definitely will.
Ramirez.
That WBA is going to be a piss easy to get if Chudinov does fight for it.
Ramirez would probably, I don't know, that'd be a close fight.
Ramirez would beat him, I think.
I was saying in the chat the other day that I wouldn't fully write him off against De Gale or Jack. I mean, he run Jack close. He looks like he's improved a bit since then. De Gale never seems to.
This is why the De Gale rematch is such a brilliant fight. I was thinking about this the other day because it could be De Gale could completely clown him, possibly knock him out. Groves could fight really well, edge out a decision again, or both of them could do what they usually do and could make massive De Gale could sit on the ropes for half the fucking fight. Then Groves could get completely exhausted after 8 rounds, and it could be an absolute mess of a fight. It could go any way. That's why it's so exciting. Like I really want to see it because there's so many different ways it could go, and I think potentially if it goes right for De Gale, I think he could stop Groves in a rematch, but it would have to be De Gale, putting it all together like he did against Dirrell for the first 6 rounds or so.
Alex, are you back?
Hello.
Hi.
Talk a bit more.
Hello, any better?
No.
It sounds like your mic's not plugged in properly or something, mate. It's like the socket's loose.
It happened the other week. If you drop off, then come back on, it will sort it out.
Do it on your phone instead.
It happened to Brian. He sounded like Darth Vader for a bit the other week, didn't he? He's gone.
We tricked him into leaving. Well done, lads.
Right, so
main event.
No, hold on. What's next for Groves then? Is it definitely a Chudinov fight?
It's looking that way, yeah.
He's mandatory, isn't he now? Right.
So, would you think that's going to be on the undercard the Femi in December?
That could be a standalone, though, couldn't it? Groves.
For who?
Groves
Chudinov.
Sauerland. No, not as pay-per-view. I never said that.
Oh, world title, I suppose. Aye, and Sky do like Groves. Aye.
I thought you meant on fucking Sky pay-per-view. That would be mental.
Don't bother me.
But you know, fucking Sky will maybe want to lump him on with Femi to bulk up the pay-per-view because I don't know what the pay-per-view numbers are doing.
They'd have Eubank coming back off a loss, though, wouldn't they? So they could chuck him back on.
I tweeted earlier. I was predicting the pay-per-view undercard for the next Joshua fight. Okay, I came up with 3 fights: Scott Quigg versus Chris Avalos. Frampton knocked him out in 5, Jim. Can Quigg do it in 4? Right, classic. Then Avalos has lost like 3 fights since then. He looks absolutely shot to shit.
Hasn't he moved up as well?
And he'll moved up. They'll drain him back down. Gallagher will say it's an amazing win. And then the co-main, Martin Murray versus Callum Smith. That is what they will go for. And they will say, "Oh, George Groves couldn't stop him, Jim. Mundo's just done him in 10. Guarantee." You there, Alex?
Well, I'm here, but I don't know if...
lovely! Hey! Hashtag zombie Alex! Many fights did you watch? Many fights did you stream and watch?
Well, I saw all of the Femi card. Saw Thurman, Porter. And that's it. What else was on?
What did you think of Felix Cash, mate?
Felix Cash, yeah.
You know what I think with Felix Cash? That sounds like such a fucking Essex name, like Joey Essex, that Felix Cash. I don't know if he's any good or no, but I bet him's like, oh, that's a fucking naughty wee name, that, we'll get him in there. Felix Cash, Corner Ben, Eubank, proper man.
Yeah, I think that's what's going on with it. He's like this Essex boy, and there seems to be this sort of big, like that Ted Cheeseman always seems
Cheese!
He always seems to be on the London cards as well, apparently, and the O2 cards. And I don't know why they're trying to big these lads up. Felix Cash, to be fair, he started it the first punch he threw, knocked the cunt on his ass, and you think, well, is this, is he got ungodly power, or is this cunt just weak as fuck? But then it went, the distance and the average. So, I don't know why I'm getting asked about fucking Felix Cash the first time I've
why are you talking about Felix Cash, for fuck's sake? Who else?
Murray.
Well, Groves Murray.
Alex, what's next for Groves and Murray? Go on.
I don't give a shit what's next for Murray, to be honest. I think he should retire.
He deserves another title shot.
I think the issue I had with the fight with Groves Murray is, was it Groves being that much better than Murray, or is Murray just really bad? And, is Groves sort of average and still slightly shot, but he's still able to pick apart Murray, because Murray's just terrible. And I think that Murray makes bad fighters sometimes look good. I mean, look at Arthur Abraham. He won, he managed to beat fucking Murray, and then in his next fight gets fucking clowned by Zerdo. And I don't think Ramirez has really proved himself that much, to be honest.
No, exactly. Ramirez isn't an elite fighter, is he? And he made Abraham look awful.
Yeah, and then Murray struggled against him. I mean, Murray, he had a good few rounds against Abraham, but he still lost. And then Groves goes ahead and clown him. I think the super middleweight division as a whole is a bit embarrassing at the moment. I mean, like I caught what you said about James DeGale and Groves, if they had another fight, about it being just this mess where they take rounds off or just sit on the ropes or gas, and you just think it's full of fighters like that. And maybe that makes it more exciting because you don't know what's going to happen, but it also means that they're a bit bang average.
What about Groves versus that RG lad that Callum Smith fought the other week? That little guy. that could be a co-main for a pay-per-view.
Do you know with Froch fucking retiring? Like, I was thinking this the other day. I think Froch could come back and win a world title, like just off the bat in his first fight.
Yeah, but it's 2.5 years, mate, since he last fought. That's the only thing.
I know, but
2.5 years.
I'm so disappointed with all of them. Like Badu Jack, they're all just do enough or just do enough.
Exactly.
Or it's so fucking boring. None of them go out like trying to get the stoppage. They're all like.
Imagine Andre Ward, if he was 5 years younger, what he would do to this division now. He could beat them all on the same night. You know what I mean?
He could do that now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as if any of the talent there is particularly special. I mean, you think that, James DeGale is pretty good when he's in his element, but then, like you say, he takes rounds off. He just acts like a fucking fanny for the rest of the fight. The Durrell fight is a perfect example of that. He was fucking messing with Durrell, and then he took rounds off, and he looked like a fucking mong.
Yeah.
I do think DeGale's got the highest ceiling, I think, though. I think
do you think that
he could be good?
Every day within boxing, and we all talk about, like, just because you play football doesn't mean you know football. It's like similar to boxing. Just because you were a boxer doesn't mean you know any sport. Cal Froch, is he the biggest fucking casual that was a professional boxer? Because he is as dumb as fuck.
Jim Watt, but
when they said to Carl Froch about Dillian White training with Jimmy Tibbs, he didn't know who Jimmy Tibbs was. He was like, yeah, he's been in the game about 10 years, Jimmy Tibbs. I was like, yeah, for real? Everybody knew Jimmy Tibbs was born with a fucking pair of gloves on his hands. And Carl Froch is there like, yeah, 10 years, Jimmy Tibbs. I was like, fuck man.
What gets me is that they never correct him when he says something that's like obviously wrong. It's really strange. Like, even on like Match of the Day, if someone says something that's complete bullshit, the others will at least call them out on it. Like Froch was saying something about that Scarpa. And he said something about that Scarpa guy having like travelled a bit and like fought on the road, and that was the guy who'd never had a fight outside Italy before. And he was like, "Oh yeah, well we know he's been on the road and won before." And it's like he's just making it up.
He also said about that fight, it was the only one I watched like on the stream before I went out. He said, "Fucking Scarpa and Hibbert, two well-seasoned professionals, quality fighters." And I was like, he's always. I've never seen Scarpa fight, and I'm not going to pretend to, so I don't know why he's fucking pretending.
He's definitely never seen Hibbert before either.
Yeah.
Did they not see that? Did they not say that Femi's fucking mandatory was Peter Parker?
Yeah.
Fucking Spider-Man.
Do you remember after Bellew beat Maccabi, they were saying about who he could fight next at cruiserweight, and they went to Froch, and he was like, "Yeah, he could fight, these big names, David Hay. He could fight."
Masanek, he said, didn't he?
Yeah, Masanek again, a rematch with Masanek. He couldn't name any other like proper top level cruiserweight, so he said Masanek again.
He probably only said that because he was on the fucking previous show when Bellew fought Masanek. You were like,
exactly.
Who was it?
Well, when he said before that he didn't like Muhammad Ali, he didn't like his fighting style. But,
yeah.
Honestly, mate, what is wrong with you? You're an absolute cabbage. You block punches with your forehead. And he's got the fucking audacity to criticise someone else's style. He's Provodnikov with more power.
He had one of the ugliest styles, didn't he? I mean, he was in some good fights, but Froch couldn't throw a single punch correctly.
Do you know what fucks me off the most about watching Froch? He punches and then he pulls his shorts up every fucking time. He throw a couple of punches, waddle back, pull his shorts up. It's like, mate, just wear the right size.
Maidana used to do that. Do you remember in all of his early fights, he'd always be pulling his shorts down, because like pushing them down. It was really weird. And Lederman, halfway through, I think it was halfway through the Khan fight, Lederman goes, "Seriously, I don't know what I'm going to do with this kid. Someone's got to tell his manager to get him some shorts that are the right size." And he was genuinely angry about it. He was like, every time he throws a combination, then he steps back and adjusts his shorts. Yeah, ridiculous. It's like me. I just can't get a cup that's big enough. I'm the same. When I'm sparring, I'm the same.
Borrow press passes.
Yeah. When me and Tom are sparring at the wild card, it's the same shit, mate.
Shall we move on to the big man himself, Femi?
I've just got one more thing. Murray, the only fight that makes any kind of half sense is Paul Smith, and then really, really, really the Lever fucking losers. I mean, the loser leaves fucking town. Why?
Only if a world title's on the line. Otherwise,
exactly.
Well, it just makes sense. Like, they could put that as like a for Callum Smith against Badu Jack or something like that.
I think they'll feed Murray to Callum. I really do. And I think the whole story will be Groves couldn't stop him. Can Callum Smith stop him? That will be the whole. That is perfectly set up for a Gallagher special.
Right. Before we go on to the main event, he should have playing Paul Smith. I feel it's our duty to just slag him just for a couple of minutes. What a fat bastard! And did he not say in an interview short lately that he's only interested about world titles? It's basically like he doesn't want any other fights unless it's world titles. What gives this guy the fucking audacity to turn around and say he wasn't even entitled to one fucking world title fight, never mind two, never mind the privilege of fighting Andre Ward. You know what annoys me about Paul Smith? I'm fucking killing myself at the gym now to get the weight off for Ibiza, right? And he's obviously been doing the same, but he's only lost weight in his face. He's just a skinny faced bastard and he's still fat. It's as if you're a fat bastard, Paul Smith.
Paul Smith saying, honestly, you don't get this in any other sport. You don't get a guy like Darren Fletcher saying, "Yeah, I'm only interested in a move to Real Madrid or Barcelona." Do you know what I mean? I swear to God, only in boxing can you justify these outrageous demands and delusion.
His level of shit is the equivalent of a Northern Ireland player saying, "I'll come with you, lads, but I'm not playing unless we get to the final."
Nothing.
He's basically he's so bad, he's not even a top fucking 25, and he still wants these fucking title shots.
Did Sky not say that Hibbert was lost basically a fight that he was a future world contender or something like that? He lost his world contender. Yeah. It said something like that. I've worded it wrong, but they said some shit like that.
Lost his chance at being a world contender or something.
Right. Fucking ridiculous, man. That's basically the attitude of Paul Smith. Paul Smith is the most entitled, miserable, greedy-faced, fat fucking cunt you'll ever know. What does it matter? All he does is he goes on IFL. I don't give a fuck about the people on Twitter. I just block them. And you know what? See the people on fucking Twitter, or the days fucking slag me on. They slag you. Because you know why? It makes us fucking happy. Because you're fucking miserable all the time. I'm miserable, but I'm happily miserable because you're fucking miserable. You fucking horrible cunt. And see when you go to Vegas or wherever it is you take your bra, I mean, I actually quite like Liam. But see the fact is your fucking bra, I'll be cheering on fucking Canelo. Boom! We're going to go into that later on. Oh, Paul Smith, you fat bastard. Right. Anthony Joshua, Brazil. I did see this fight. I'll let you talk about it, but Alex, you can fucking chime in with us. Oh man, what a bum fight, but on you go.
Well, you want me to start?
On you go, fire away. Get a bit of hair in here.
I haven't really got any monologue for it. I think that it showed some bad sides to Femi, to be honest. I think that it shows that he's a bit basic and he doesn't know how to adapt, or maybe it's simply a case of he didn't need to adapt. He was just going through the motions because Brazil is a really shit opponent. But then you look into the fact is why is he fighting such really shit opponents? It's baffling if he's that good and he's he can coast that well for 7 rounds against someone like Brazil. He should be fighting the top level guys, but he's not, and they've got no fucking intention of doing so. I mean, they've got Parker on the way up as a random stream.
Well, Alex, mate, you say that, but do you see the news today? About Hearn has said that depending on what the outcome of this Tyson Fury drugs thing, which I haven't read anything about it, I don't know what's going on, but Hearn said depending on the outcome of that, they would target Klitschko next, because I think they clearly see that Klitschko is past it and on the way out. How fucking amazing it would be if Vlad just iced him.
I don't think they would target Klitschko.
No, but I can see that happening though, because I think they'll think that Vlad's sort of he's shot now and
AJ's on a fucking plate for Vlad. His style's fucking up. Vlad will just 1-2 him to death. They both just stand upright, 1-2 in.
Yeah, but I don't think
I'll pick Vlad over fucking Fury at 1-2 in. I mean, Vlad over AJ. They both just stood there. He's not like Fury who's moving on his back foot, on his toes. He's just stand there walking forward and backwards. Then Klitschko will win. He's the robot of the fucking...
Exactly. Who's going to fucking win out of a jab fight between AJ and Vlad?
Has Joshua ever... I'm trying to remember. Has he ever been fought a guy who was sort of constantly clinching him or anything like that?
No.
Has that ever happened? No.
Brazil clinched quite a lot, but it wasn't like a case of smothering him. It was just because he was fucking, getting battered, basically.
You think a guy like Vlad, would be able to wear Joshua out pretty quickly if he was leaning on him and using his body weight. It's an interesting one, but Hearn, it was on Bad Left Hook today. Hearn saying that's what we're looking at if Fury, if the Fury results rule him out for a while.
I do not think they would ever take that, because even if they're saying that Vlad is, I mean, what they've been saying against Fury to diminish Fury's win is that Vlad was shot and that. All the AJ fans and casual cunts like that are saying that Vlad was shot and Fury beat up an old man. And if AJ goes in there and obviously gets beat by this old man, it's going to look fucking embarrassing for them. And I don't think there's a way out of that. I mean, AJ will lose his belt, to an old man. And where's he going to go from there? I don't think that it's, thinking in the mind of Hearn, who's this risk-reward, money-orientated cunt. He would never touch Vlad because Vlad could fucking ice him, and we're not fleet-footed. He's not gonna run backwards and avoid the jab and just confound Klitschko. You haven't seen much of AJ's head movement. He blocks punches quite well, and he intimidates people by walking forwards, and using the jab and blinding people, and then he fires the right hand. And who does that best? Vlad does. Vlad's gonna have his leaning back style, where he leans his head fucking right back, powers in that piston jab, and he's gonna fuck up Femi's face.
I'd be interested to see the reach difference for Vlad and Fury. Vlad and John.
Dimensions-wise, they look
got much longer arms.
Yeah, but it's how you use the reach as well, isn't it? I mean, Vlad uses the reach very well. I don't know what the reach is, but it's probably worth looking up.
No, I'm not. I don't have it up, but I know Vlad's a couple of inches taller, and like you say, Alex, Joshua would never have had to sort of deal with a jab as strong as that would land consistently, even if it's landing on his arms and sort of on his, the side of his head or whatever. It would still be, it would be rocking him back. and he might have a crisis or two. But equally, you know, if Joshua could land on him, you know he'd be able to knock him out.
It's 81 inches for Vlad, 82 for AJ. I mean, that's nothing, is it? And Vlad knows how to use his reach a lot better. I would assume the experience of, you know, out of 50, 60, how many other fights that he's had compared
65
to
65 or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And
it's just whether we think Vlad's shot then, isn't it, really? Whether we believe he is.
He's diminished. Absolutely, he's diminished, and he's getting old. But
he's got enough in the tank to beat a style like that.
Yes,
or at least to be very competitive with a style like that.
Yeah, Fury didn't beat an old man. He outboxed a man. He outboxed a boxer, and he used the boxing style. It wasn't a case of Vlad wasn't athletic enough. It was he couldn't beat that style.
But Press Pass said that Fury was lucky.
Well, he said.
Well, Press Pass said it.
Are you saying he's got an agenda?
He said Fury was going to old man him. No, Vlad was going to old man Fury.
He just loves old men in every fight.
just like Hopkins did to Kovalev.
That was a great prediction. Yeah. So the other thing was again, you guys. I don't know if you saw it. I think it was in Ring where Wilder just immediately went, "Yeah, I'd love to fight Joshua." Absolute radio silence from Hearn and Joshua in response. I don't know if, but with the Showtime connection, you know, Showtime would be very keen to put that fight together.
They all want to fight Joshua because he's the money man at the moment. You know, that's the thing, and they see him open. I think a lot of these fighters, they're not worried about their own O's and their own belts. I mean, Wilder is keen to fight him because he thinks he could spark him out.
This might be a bit controversial, but you know me. I personally think that Amir Mansour hits harder than Joshua, and I think that was proven at the weekend. Mansour Brazil was able to take fucking Joshua's punches for 7 rounds. Tell me, see if Mansour didn't bite through his tongue. And granted, it was fair punch. He did take his mouth open, but it was a punch for Brazil. So what? Amir Mansour fucking must hit harder because Brazil was fucked.
I got into this with.
And this is a smaller guy, a guy that's in his fucking 40s, I think, that served time in jail, that's only doing this to fucking make a bit of money.
I got into this with Press Pass in the chat, and
Press Pass is a fucking faggot.
Yeah, exactly. He rode the white horse in, White Knight and that. But I said, like, the two people that actually wanted to stay in that ring and fight have stayed in that ring. Fair enough. Dillian White got laid on his ass, and Brazil was stopped.
That was a fucking belly of a knockout with Dillian White. We need to give Femi credit for that. Yeah. But see when you're fucking that size and you're pumping human growth hormones and that, you're going to kill something. You're going to fucking wipe people out at some point.
The only two that's actually wanted to be in that ring have stayed around when they've been it. They haven't just folded straight away. He's obviously got power, isn't he? But he's not some bone shattering.
No, he's not, Tyson. There's not one person that he sparked clean out. Not one person. I know that the referee stopped it. Press. We are obsessed with you, big fucking skinny, lanky 7 foot fucking weirdo frame, fucking bed selling, fucking boss sniffing prick.
I said this to Alex as well in the chat when we were talking about it on Sunday morning. I said the only person in the heavyweight division I think beats everyone is Ortiz. The rest of them, I think they can all trade wins against each other. But the only one clear and, well, in my opinion, I'm a bit of a fanboy, that smashes them all is Ortiz. The rest will just trade wins.
Fury's too big for Ortiz. Fuck Ortiz.
Ortiz is 6'4".
I love myself that big Cuban.
He's 6'4", but he's about 37 as well. Like, I don't.
Yeah,
I think who's he fucking beat? John Thompson, who's like about 4 years too old.
So you know how
John Thompson,
Jennings,
casual idiot.
You know how everybody always talks about and says that these Cubans are elder. Is it no that they're just the fuckers are having to work for they're about 4 year old and they age like dogs? As if, like, you know how everybody for Sheffield look about 90 because they're all what?
Is Liam Smith a Cuban?
Cal Froch has gone fucking grey and all. Cal Froch has got a bit of grey about him these days, but he seems to be, you know how when you go grey gracefully where you're like, fuck it. He looks good, but...
Do you know who looks better than Carl Froch these days? Joe Calzaghe.
Joe Calzaghe has ripped out his fucking tights, man. He is packing.
He looks fucking sexy as shit, mate.
Classically handsome. Should we do a hot list later?
There was a picture of him going around with it was Oscar, Calzaghe, and Provodnikov. It was Brian's 3 favourite fighters.
I bet fucking Joe gets his ass waxed and everything. He's just smooth as fuck.
I loved it when he was on Come Dance With Me or whatever it's called, and then he just started noshing off his dance partner within like 2 weeks, and left his wife immediately.
And Frog slagged him about it, and then he went on some fucking weird no dance thing where he dressed like fucking Poison Ivy at his fucking Batman.
Yeah, he played the flute, mate. It wasn't gay.
So
I'm
Femi,
gonna dig that picture up now.
So I get a picture of. I see Femi. Like what I seen was a guy that was just allowed to tee off when he wanted, and see for a guy that could just like kind of connect when he wanted, he seemed to miss a lot of punches, and I don't know whether I'm not taking this excuse here that he's tired, he's exhausted because of like TV commitments, like endorsements and all. That's your own fucking fault for being a greedy Uncle Tom bastard, right? Your job as a fucking boxer, it's not to fucking go and slag about. Floyd didn't need to fucking slag himself off to every cunt. No cunt would give him a fucking sponsor because he better fuck out his woman for getting a bit lippy. So Floyd didn't need it. Floyd was fucking quite happy, but you're fucking here taking all this fucking money, you big greedy cunt. Because you know as soon as you fight some cunt legit, you're getting fucking put to sleep, you big fucking rancid human growth hormone, ped fucking sniffing motherfucker. Right, so,
do you know that, just Brian, just quickly on that, on like the way he's overrated. You know that Lee Wiley, the guy who does the videos about technique and all that stuff.
But it says that fucking Canelo would beat Floyd.
Yeah. But you know how he breaks down like especially offensive feint. He's good at breaking down feints and stuff like that. And he put a tweet out earlier today, just saying people saying Joshua is unstoppable are way off. You know, there are a number of things he still has to work on. It was really like mild criticism. He wasn't slagging the guy off at all. And he got a load of responses basically saying, bit harsh, mate, and like having a go at him for and I said to him, yeah, the idea that these people are genuinely outraged by the idea that Joshua isn't the perfect fighter, and he was like, yeah, it's a bit strange. Like it's a complete cult already, isn't it?
Well, it's worse. I can't remember who tweeted it, but he said these fans, AJ fans, are worse than. Well, they're on the level of Pacquiao and Mayweather fans, like the rabid sort of fucking casuals. They go absolutely fucking mental at any sort of hint of criticism or, you know, moaning about them. They go fucking ballistic and say absolutely stupid shit.
See,
I hate the fact how they try to weasel in the Ali comparison with him as well.
See,
that really fucking wound me up.
You know, see the thing with like Femi, what bothers me is like Hearn's always going on about he's only interested in money, right? Like him personally, he's just a greedy bastard, right? There's one fight there that fucking can be made like that it's the biggest fucking money maker that you'll ever be involved in. And what is that? David Haye. You can easily make that. It doesn't need to be a Wembley. You can take that fucking to Cardiff, right? You fuck your fucking London. You can get it right fucking up you. Fuck it. Take that to Cardiff. 70,000 in there. Roof over it. Bosh. Easy. He will accept that. Not a problem. He doesn't want to do it for fucking two reasons. One, Femi's a prick. And two, he is fucking potentially fucking wipe him clean out. So,
well, Hayes said like he's not shouting from the rooftops because he knows it's going to happen sooner or later, and he knows he'll beat him.
Well,
so he doesn't need to cry about it.
You know what Hay reminds me of when he keeps going on, like the way he talks about Femi. It's like he's so diplomatic towards him. He never says a bad thing, never calls him out, never really says anything. It reminds me of the time when after Groves absolutely fucking terrorised Froch and he just got inside his head for the first fight and the second fight and all that. And just fucking Froch just couldn't take it. And see after like he beat Groves and like the Gale was his mandatory. I know this because like Mark told me like it came for such and such. The Gale was told in no certain terms, you do not fucking start bad mouthing Froch on TV anywhere because you'll not get the fucking fight then. He was told this, and see if you watch for about 8-9 months the Gale said fucking nothing, and eventually it clocked on, I'm not getting this fight, so I'm going to start calling Wang. This reminds me of Hay, doesn't say on about like Femi. He's actually started getting quite diplomatic about fucking Fury and off elite, but that's the easiest fight he can make. They can make it, they don't want to make it. Why no? The fans want it. You see the fucking casuals, all they talk about is like David Haye and all. David Haye is a fucking casuals favourite. I know they say like Joshua, but David Haye's still the fucking casuals king. I wouldn't mind that fight. That would be fucking dynamite, man. I actually think it is a fucking right pick and fight. Like,
I kind of
gets...
think Hayes not beating him down or talking shit about him, because when he does fight him and he does beat him, it looks better. I don't think he's going to want to be on national TV saying, "Oh, he's shit, I'll knock him out with a punch," and that. He's going to build him up to be some Superman. So when he does beat him,
he knows what happens when you badmouth Hearn and how it affects fights because of his relationship with the McGuigans. He's seen what happens with Quigg and Frampton and how long that fight took to make. So maybe he is being more diplomatic and not calling Hearn a cunt and all the rest of it, because that's what the McGuigans did, and it turned into a fucking farce. And it took
on you go, fucking
years.
Barry. On you fucking go. See, like the fucking Angie mentioned that annoyed. Remember when Hearn says that Femi had a sore back and he was almost in a wheelchair because he might have never boxed again, and all it was fucking, I don't know.
A stress fracture.
Aye, basically he could have been fucking disabled for life. Everybody knows my conspiracy theories. I believe that he's just up to the gills. Angie's asking, do you think he fucked up his cycle and got pulled out of that fucking, was it maybe Newcastle, was it Birmingham or something like that? Like one of the cards that he pulled out of? Do you know think?
Yeah, it was Birmingham, wasn't it?
We've absolutely no proof of this, but when have we ever needed proof? We don't. We're a pure scumbags, but once fucking if Lever listens to these pods and have our fucking grasses on us, we're all skint.
Just delete it.
Well, we've seen.
Fuck you, Lever, we'll just delete it.
The proof that we've seen the pictures of him with his gold medal at the Olympics, and then they do a side-by-side comparison with him, about 6 months ago, and the size of his fucking jaw.
He's 50% bigger, isn't he? In like every sense. Yeah.
Put on
jaw's the
of muscle.
It's like he's gone through 1,000 years of evolution in about 4 years of human growth hormone.
But it's like it's not just sort of his biceps. It's like his hands are bigger now. It's ridiculous. It doesn't make sense.
Well, his face his face is just like morph.
Shape, yeah.
You see the thing that I noticed is it's like how when people kind of bulk up, they go a bit like kind of chubby, and they need to cut that weight to get back down to their muscular frame. He's basically kept all the fucking muscle mass and not put a bit of fat on at all. He's just basically added muscle on top of muscle, and I don't know if that is physically possible. I've asked guys, I've said this before, I've asked guys that take steroids, is it possible to get that size? And I'm like, is it fuck? I was like, is it possible to be able to like bulk up what he's bulked up and just keep that muscle and not even put a bit of fat on? They're like, it is possible, but you need to take stuff. The lad is absolutely fucking no. You cannot get that size without you can. And this is another thing. He says he never ever does weights. How are you meant to get that size if you physically do not do fucking weights? I don't know what sort of exercise he's doing.
Star jumps.
Star jumps.
20 star jumps in the morning, 20 at night.
Is he basically watching all the? Is he basically watching all the Jenny Settler fucking videos that she posts to get that nice ass of hers, and he's just basically doing it in an extreme version? Fuck me. He's huge. Imagine being that size. I'd be just see if I was his size. I'd be doing the post weight in the scud. I'd be delivering the mail with a banging out and everything, just fucking total scud. And he says anything, look at the size of me. I'll fucking rip you to pieces, you cow. There's your mail. Happy day. Mock off. Just a fucking big fucking dong he has. Just
but it's also
about.
He's got like that Berto stomach, hasn't he? Where it's not a six pack. It's like this sort of like turtle shell.
It's protruding into it. Is that the word for it?
Yeah.
Is that
it's because your organs grow as well. So basically everything in your stomach's like bigger, and then it pops out, and then you've got your abs on top of your like fat stomach. Basically, it looks weird. And when he stops taking them, then you'll really see if he's been on steroids before, because then they look really fucking bad.
Well, we should be. We're going to have an expert shortly for the podcast, like his Ainsley started taking pens a day, didn't he?
Maldonium, yeah.
Ainsley's got to sell a fucking batch of Maldonium, and he started taking
27 quid it cost him from some online pharmacy.
So see, this is how
I'm hoping
How
it's
much?
not meldonium. I'm hoping it's estrogen or so he starts growing tits.
That shows you how good this pod is. We don't just talk about boxing, we investigate what's happening. We've got people taking drugs. Boom! You don't get that fucking the boxing asylum, don't you know? No, you cheeky wee bastards.
Gonzo journalism, exactly. He's gone behind enemy lines. He's actually seeing what it's really like.
Aye, so basically, so like they fucking end this chat about fucking Femi. Who do you think is going to fight next?
Parker, like I
Parker.
said, they said before January the 9th, so it's got
Yeah,
to be
Femi's
Parker.
having his cycle right now, isn't he? So
Oh, he's taking a couple of weeks off. He's totally tired for like the sponsors and all that. Like,
how
I
many
mean,
sponsors has he got? Seriously, try and count. He's got Beats by Dre.
I'm
He's got
fucking raging. I'm
Lucozade.
wearing a pair of these.
FC UK, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got fucking
Under Armour.
Lucozade.
Under Armour.
Lucozade.
Yeah, Lucozade. O2 sponsor him. StubHub, yeah.
What's
Did they sponsor Matchroom shows, StubHub? I've never noticed them before in any of the business.
How tiring is it getting free stuff and standing there watching someone film you?
Cow,
Like,
he had to shake someone's hand the other day and take a check for $100 grand. It was really exhausting.
it's like Fury's out in fucking. Maybe he's a drug cheat too, but we don't know that yet. He's out in fucking Nice getting pissed with football fans, having a good time. Imagine Joshua ever spending actual time with fans when there's not a camera there.
Imagine if you were a company
did you
that
see-
endorsed Fury. How fucking funny.
Did you see Fury's sponsor? It was called like Nonna's Kitchen. It's some little independent restaurant in Bolton or something.
Imagine
Just give a
sponsoring
big shout out to
him.
Nonna's Kitchen.
Oh, man.
Yeah, 'cause
Right,
he forgets to say anything about it. Then Coogan does an extra video with him where he remembers Nonna's kitchen. He's like, "Oh yeah, and go to Nonna's kitchen."
Imagine you're sort of HSBC and you've just done it. Oh, let's get the heavyweight champion of the world to get our logo on their trunks. You open up the papers on Monday morning, and then he says like, "All spastics must be burnt alive" or something like that.
Dave Allen's
Yeah.
Dave Allen's got the best sponsor. Some little Twitter page called Shaka the Bookie Smacker or something.
I like the ones. Wasn't there one? There was one. I remember we were speaking about this where you could get. We wanted to get Ray Pop watch on someone's trunks, and we were talking to a fighter in America. No, we were talking to a guy in America. I think it might have been Andre. Do you know, a few years ago? And we were like, right, what is the smallest thing we could get on your trunks? Like if we just wanted a really small logo, and he said it would cost. He said it would cost about $5,000 or something, and you could get like a really small, sort of almost like a stamp size. And we wanted to get Ray Pop's face just in the corner of his trunk, but it would have cost about $5,000.
I reckon you could get that on Dave Allen's for like £100 or something.
I'll tell you the sponsor I'm hoping Femi gets. East Coast Mitsubishi, because then he's bound to lose.
Yeah.
They are the biggest L in boxing now.
All the ghetto ones they have in the Mexican fighters always have those like that Lucas oil and stuff. They're all for like the real sort of road warrior like ghetto fighters. And then all the fancy guys have East Coast Mitsubishi's Garcia, isn't it? All his fighters have that.
And they all lose.
Yeah.
Does Dave Allen listen to this pod?
You didn't know how to work Hangouts. I'm surprised he's even got the internet.
I honestly think that we could convince him to get at next big pod and up the Ra on his shots for the Dylan White fight. I'm fucking convinced, man, he would do it.
We could get Garrido to get next big pod. We genuinely could do that. Anyway, move on to Thurman.
I'm fucking calling the shots, motherfucker.
You're too slow, mate.
No, I'm fucking fast, motherfucker. Right, we'll move on.
Exactly, you do what I want. This is my podcast now, bitch.
Aye. Right, fight of the weekend. One of the fights of the year. I know that it was like, it seemed to be the hipster thing, but I was fucking pissed off. Like, I was right happy with this Keith Thurman Sean Porter fight because I thought it was a right good fight. I wasn't expecting much. I thought it would be a fucking Snyder. And then and maybe people say this about me, right? But I feel as if it's a good fight. It's a good fight, and I'll try and give people credit. Maybe I don't. But fuck me, see the people that hate the PBC. They were fucking raging over this fight, like Steve Kim and all that. They were bitching like fuck's sake, like trying to denigrate it by saying it wasn't Salido Vargas. We fucking know it wasn't. Why you try to shit on something, comparing it to another fight that was fucking absolutely crazy? And then there was hundreds of punches missed. I was like, why? I was like, see if this was a fucking Oscar De La Hoya fight, you'd be right up with us. I understand Gateman, like fucking Duke Fisher and Steve Kim work for ring magazine, Ring TV and stuff like that. But even at that, fucking call a spade a spade. It was a really good fight. You just didn't expect it to be a good fight. Why are you fucking always shitting on it? I thought it was fucking excellent. And what I said was, for some reason, Sean Porter looked even better than I expected him, and so did Keith Thurman. I had like Keith Thurman winning 1-1-6, 1-1-2 with some like swing rounds, but for me, the two of them looked a lot better. I really wasn't expecting much for this fight, but like, Sean Porter's fucking jaw, man, his chin is legit. I know he get put down with like Broner, but Keith Thurman hit me some fucking.
Fair, wasn't it, from Broner?
Keith Thurman hit me some fucking power shots, and I think, you know, people were saying that Keith Thurman's power is overrated because he's not been knocking people out. I just think if Sean Porter didn't have as good a chin, he would have been fucking clean out, and his power is real because that was keeping Porter backward. You see, when you know it's like he was bum rushing him like for a couple of rounds, and Keith Thurman tagged him. I can't remember what it was. Was that maybe a left hook or something like that? He tagged him, and Sean Porter didn't want to fucking get back in there for a round or two, and people say that like Keith Thurman was kind of running. I didn't think so. He was moving. The people need to fucking kind of differentiate between like just running, which was what Lara does, like goes from corner to corner. He's back on the ring. If you're just moving away from getting fucking punched, not everybody needs to be a Salido Vargas where you just stand there and trade like fuck. Stop being wee fucking knob jockeys and just thinking like unless you're getting fucking the shit punched out of you all the time, it's not a good fight. It is. Keith Thurman's a better boxer than I expected. He's carrying a lot of fucking power. I'm down, mate. I was happy as fuck for this fight. Sean Porter looks a lot better. I thought Sean Porter didn't smother his work as much as either. I heard the Asylum saying that he smothered his work a lot, but see, compared to his last fights, he didn't. And he was using his jab was a lot better as well. So I loved this fight. I fucking did. I loved it. It was a great fight. Maybe we're starved of like great good fights often. That I'm overselling this, but for me, it was fucking decent.
It was nice to see like Thurman not hold so much. Like when Porter fought Brook, there was a lot of clinching. There wasn't as much clinching. I think that's why Porter looked a bit better because he wasn't constantly being grabbed every time he did get near.
Well, this is what I was going to say. I thought we were going to leave like the comparisons between Brook Porter and Porter Thurman towards the end, but I was going to say that is it a case of Thurman being a better boxer because he managed to sort of step back and actually fire shots and get punches off rather than having to just smother Porter. But at the end of the day, Brook obviously won, but that's quite contentious among some people, and it was a very close fight. And this fight, was quite close. Even though Keith was on the back foot and he was a bit more precise, he still lost at least 5 rounds in my eyes. He lost. I had it 7-5 to Thurman. Is it a case of Thurman boxed better? Or was it Brook? Was Brook's performance better?
I thought Thurman's was better because as I keep saying, I scored the Brook fight to Porter, and I thought Porter boxed a lot better than he did against Brook. And I know people say that's because Brook kind of took the style away from him, but Brook should have had a couple of points deducted for holding, and he did hit the cleaner shots, but. I thought that Porter was hurt a lot more often against Thurman, but he did box a lot. It was just one of the fights where there was a clear winner in my opinion, but both of them impressed me. Maybe that sounds fucking stupid, but it is what it is, and that's my opinion.
You can have like really close fights where there's a clear winner though. Like every round is close, but still someone comes out of it.
Yeah, well,
clear.
Floyd Madana 1 came to mind. It was a close 7-5, but it was always a 7-5. I love me some Floyd Mayweather. I always need to drop him and Ricky Burns into a podcast every week.
In terms of the fight, I really enjoyed it. It was one of the better fights this year. But don't you think that's just obviously what's going to happen if you actually match 2 top 5 or top 10 guys more often? More often than not, they're decent fights. It's because we're used to getting so much shit that we're thinking, fucking hell, great fight. But all it was 2 good guys going at it, and it was like a nice clash of styles. But we should be getting a fight of that level every fucking weekend. There's no excuses for it. And when they do it, I think they sold like 12,500, 13,000, which is fucking loads for America. Like their fight, the one with DeGale, that DeGale card, I think they did about 1,000. So massive crowd. Obviously, will have done better than the usual numbers that they've been getting. Like, just start making these fights. There's
They've said, Cal, it will probably be the highest rated PBC show of the year. It was like 1.8 million or something. It peaked
And
out. It's quite a lot.
Who's Heyman got? He's
So
got.
it's not what channel it was on. It was actually fucking terrible considering the channel it was on.
But Heyman's got.
No. But for PBC, it was the best of the year so far. So I know the bar's quite low, but it was an improvement.
Heyman's got them two. He's got Garcia. He's got Errol Spence. He's got Khan, and he's got Berto. But fuck. I suppose he has one, so you kind of got to give him one of the fights. Like he will get one of them, so he's going to get.
But see, the thing is, see with PBC, this is the fight that should have kicked PBC off. It should have been Garcia Guerrero. This should have been the fight. Imagine this fucking fight happened last year, and everybody would have been like, "What a fucking fight they kicked off PBC," and they just built on that. And basically, by this year, they would have had the undisputed welterweight champion. They fucked about for a full year. I don't know why. They blew so much money. I do not know why. I still say it's a Ponzi scheme. Al Heyman's a fucking ghost, and it's probably going to be fucking Floyd Mayweather pulling off a Scooby-Doo mask or something like that and saying, "Ha, fooled you all."
I always think, Brian, for situations like this, it's always good to play the game of what you think we're going to get next and then what we want next. Because I think after that fight and after Thurman calling out Garcia, what we want next is Thurman, Garcia, and Porter versus Berto, right? That will be fine. What we'll get is Thurman, Porter 2 and Garcia against Berto. I'm almost positive of it.
I'd see Thurman Porter 2. I'd have no problem with that at all.
Really?
None.
Much rather see him unify against Garcia. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, I
but
think
Garcia's not interested in fighting anyone, is he?
they're both good fights. To be fair, there's not a knock either of those fights. The rematch would be excellent.
I think there's much more. Considering you've got 4 guys now who've got a belt each, who are all able to fight each other. You know, Brook, Vargas, Thurman, and Garcia. I think imagine if we had 2 unifications in the second half of this year, and then the winners of those 2, potentially you've got, say, Brook against Thurman next year. That could be an absolutely enormous fight for all 4 belts, and that's what we've got to be aiming towards, right? We want a unified champion in every division. And I think like the rematch would be all right. Maybe Porter can get a shot at Thurman if he beats Garcia. But I think I'd always rather have, you know, the unification moving on to the next step. But yeah, like you say, Garcia will take the easy option, won't he? He always does. But Porter Broner would be a good action fight as well. Perfect, like as a co-feature.
I wouldn't mind seeing Thurman Porter again, and then the winner of that maybe could fight if Brook wins. Brook if he beats Vargas. Because then you'd have 3 belts, wouldn't you? And you can just
Broner after he
you can leave Garcia off to the side because he's a fucking idiot. No one cares.
Yeah,
about
but
him.
Garcia's got a belt though, so you need to include him.
He won it off Guerrero, and he's going to fight no cunt, so he can go and die.
But Thurman technically won his belt off of Guerrero and all.
Yeah, but at least he's beat Porter now.
Thurman got it because Floyd vacated, didn't he?
No, but he had to fight Guerrero for it, or they upgraded him, but he defended.
This is what I said before in the podcast. 2 guys have won fucking world titles by beating like Guerrero when Guerrero's not had that fucking win since what?
He's probably done it like 130 or something.
He's not had a fucking win since Berto in 2012. I don't include that Martinez fight because he lost that.
Realistically,
Guerrero, old man Floyd. I thought.
Realistically, in 12 months' time, there should be a fucking unified champion. It should be Thurman Garcia next, Brook Vargas next. Winner fights winner. 12 months, there you go. And it's so fucking obvious looking at it. But obviously that won't happen, and we'll still have
what's going to happen, though?
We'll have 3 or 4 champions still in a year's time.
You know what's going to happen? It's going to be... Brook is going to vacate, and he's going to go up to 154 after he wins.
And Spence will fucking clean them all out and probably unify the belts by himself, yeah. Here's a question. I said, obviously, I predicted this fight perfectly because I'm top of the league. And I also said before that I thought Thurman would outpoint Porter and Spence would knock Thurman out with a body shot. Who would we pick, Spence against Thurman? Because obviously they're both highly ranked in the PBC now. And again, assume Danny Garcia is not going to fight either of them.
Repeat that.
Who would you pick, Sam, if Spence and Thurman fought at some point? You know, in the next year or so, because I think Spence might knock him out with body shots. Because Porter hurt him again, didn't he, with body shots?
I'd still pick Thurman at the minute, because Spencer's like, let's get it right. Like Spencer's only really beaten Algiero. It was impressive the way he beat him. That's the only person he's beat. If he can fight, well, is there a better journeyman than Algieri?
He's a pretty good gatekeeper.
The fucking Spencer's on the juice and all with the big
He
fucking...
iced a man who'd never been iced before.
I don't know. I'd lean towards Thurman, but I wouldn't be confident in my pick.
Would you just copy me again in the prediction league?
No, because you're a prick and I can't stand you.
I can't stand
I'd copy Press Pass.
Don't copy me then if you can't stand me. You've got to admit that I'm great if you copy me.
Where is that fucking big lanky creepy bastard? I've gave him the link so he can come on.
No, because people don't like it with Shep being on.
I'm off.
Press Pass.
Anyway.
Oh, he loves it.
See you in a bit, lads.
Nice.
Got it.
Press
There you
Pass been
go.
tagging me in all day to tweet. He's trying to get on my good side. Who have you kicked off? Oh, you've kicked Cal off. Fuck's sake.
No, he left.
I think that I want the Garcia fight because I'm all about the unification, but we're not going to get that fight because I think they're talking about like putting like Garcia and Roberto, and Garcia's no fought for like March or something. But I don't know whether like Garcia's had enough to see if Floyd's coming back. It's all fucking murky as fuck. But Garcia doesn't want to fight any cunt anyway. But Thurman will fight Indy. I think Thurman's one of the guys that will take any fight.
I said to you the other day, I never realised Thurman had a list, but now I can't take him seriously when he talks. Just makes me laugh.
I've never noticed he's got a list.
Yeah, I was watching.
Really?
Yeah, he's got a list.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, I can't believe you've never noticed it. Like,
No, I haven't really watched any interviews with him.
Of him all the time for it.
See, I like Thurman, man. I've always been a bit of a fanboy of him because I've said this in the chat. Regardless of like people turning around saying, "Oh, fucking British boxing's booming." See, unless you've got a legit fucking American in the division that you like, it just doesn't seem to be the same. And see if Thurman turns out to be this legit fucking heavy punching American welterweight that can maybe go up to like middle, maybe stretch a bit. This is what you fucking want, because eventually down the line you're going to get these unification fights with this fucking top American name, and he's good. What I found with this kind of shit, don't fucking jump down on me because I know how much a fucking fanboy you're, but watching like Thurman, he's unorthodox and weird as fuck the way he throws punches. He seems to throw fucking hooks and all that while he's moving backwards, and he reminded me a bit like see Sergio Martinez, where he just doesn't throw conventional punches. It's awfully awkward angles, and I didn't really notice that with Thurman. I always thought it was like kind of just more straightforward, but he's fucking no. He'll just throw punches from anywhere, and I'm down with it.
He's very good at fighting going backwards.
Aye.
And obviously, I'm obviously agreeing with you, Brian. And I think that that's essential if you're going to beat Porter. You have to be able to fight going backwards. Broner cannot fight going backwards, which is why when Press Pass picked him to beat Porter, I said it was a fucking stupid pick. And yeah, needless to say, Broner old banned him.
I liked that fight. I fucking liked that fight.
Yeah, but Broner can't do anything when he's forced to go backwards. I don't think Garcia can fight going backwards either, which is why I would be very confident in Thurman beating. I actually think Porter would beat Garcia, or at least give him a really tough fight, because I don't think Garcia can fight going backwards, and Porter will force you to go backwards.
Garcia's powers that myth as well, because remember Garcia's got this reputation of a heavy-handed puncher because he's beaten an old man Morales and fucking Amir Khan, who gets knocked out with everybody. That is it.
Yeah, he's never knocked anyone out. He's never really, apart from Paulie at fucking 147. Oh, by the way, there was an absolutely fantastic Paulie moment over the weekend where Paulie was saying that in order to beat Sean Porter, you've got to make him go backwards. Take it from me, he doesn't fight well going backwards. And someone was like, Paulie, how would you know? Like, he beat the shit out of you. What are you talking about?
To be honest, see if you listen to like Malinagi's podcasts, he only admits, man, he's never felt power like it, and I know he's accused of Porter of taking steroids before, right? But he was talking to a guy last night, and I want to go into like this kind of fucking funny because I wrote this down anyway. He basically had like Mark Kriegel on, and he was just saying he's never felt power like it. He just couldn't deal with it. He's like, he was just so fucking tough on the inside. He was just so strong, and I know Porter's dad gets a lot of fucking grief, right? But Kriegel done these interviews with him, and he basically interviewed his dad, and his dad was telling him about his grown up. And I'm going to try and like kind of get that story right, that his mum or something like that told him to watch his wee brother, and he was supposed to take him across the road, and I think like Porter's dad walked across the road without him, and his wee brother walked out in front of a car and died. And they're like, is that why you're so fucking hard on your boy? You're constantly on his arse all the time. You just never fucking let up, no? And just basically, So I kind of think like he worded it a lot better, no? But basically, what it is, he's a lot fucking harder because he just doesn't want fuck all something shitey to harm to his boy. So I thought I kind of tell the story a wee bit because I quite like his style. I know everybody fucking hates him, but I like sometimes I like people who talk pure shit, and he talks some fucking power of shit.
But also they're really religious, aren't they? And I think like family loyalty, you know, and listening to your parents and that, it's a big part of their. And
he also admitted that he's like, I need Sean more than Sean needs me. I know people say that he's living. He's like, I need this guy more than fucking Sean needs me. And like Sean's left him a good few times, and eventually just ends up getting back to him. And they said it's more a kind of big brother wee brother relationship. And like this is so cringeworthy, right, man? Can see what I heard. They say this is as if this was normal, but it's fucking no. I mean, it's bad enough me going to the cinema with my mum, but he says that they always do shit together, and they also get dates together. I'm like, what the fuck is shit out, man? Imagine that I'm going to take her with the back finger. Don't fucking get out on a date with your fucking dad. Weirdo. But anyway, I kind of fucking sidetracked. I want Thurman Garcia. I don't want any other fucking fight.
Yeah, Thurman Garcia, Spence Porter, Berto Porter, whatever it is. Broner against Spence. Any of those would be good.
Like Brook fights like Vargas, takes that belt. Thurman fights Garcia, takes that belt. And if Brook doesn't, what that'll force like Hearn to do is that would force Hearn to fucking turn around and say, right, fuck it, we want a unification with Thurman because we don't want that fight with Spence because it's the high risk fucking low reward here. We're only getting to keep our 2 belts if we win. We'd be better off just fighting for the 4 belts. That's what I want. I live in a perfect world of bullshit, and that'll no happen. But hey ho, but it was a good fight. But Thurman better be what is this? Nearly July. He better be back out by September. Well, that's the only thing.
Yeah, no, I mean neither guy was massively bashed up, were they? I mean they're both a bit bruised, but Porter always looks like he can just keep going all night. He never really seems to mark up his face really.
Because he's on drugs.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if he is anymore because his energy's dropped a bit since that period when.
How many punches did they throw fucking on Saturday?
Only 2,000, mate. It's normal.
Exactly.
I think like I definitely think Porter's on stuff because he's done the same as like Brook, where it looks as if he's cut muscle, and it seems that he's able to make. In fact, I'm not saying he makes the weight easier because he had to strip buck naked at the weekend, didn't he?
Well,
but
remember he had to cut. God knows, was it £3 to fight Broner?
Yeah, 144.
So you know
he does always look dry on the scales, but he looks dry as in he's no sweating nothing. But
Thurman looks shit on the scales.
He's never drawn in though, but. I think Thurman's gas tank was a bit better as well. I know people say he gassed it, but he was fighting right to the end. So
I think Thurman about 2 years ago made a conscious effort to change his style and become more of a boxer, and as a result, he's had to learn how to pace himself to moving, constantly moving around the ring. And I think he's improving with every performance because there were a couple, against Guerrero where he completely gassed out in like the 9th round, and I think that's because he suddenly found that. He wasn't able to just, when he was on his HBO and that, he was just punching through guys and knocking them out in 4 or 5 rounds. And then he suddenly realised, actually, I'm gonna stick to my boxing because these guys are a bit more durable. And I think he's learned to pay. He basically, George Groves needs to do what Thurman's done. Needs to learn to fight a different way and pace himself.
See, just what before we move on, like one thing that I noticed was, and I had this rant on Sunday, Americans, they're probably the most educated, like with boxing. I really do think that. But at the same time, most of them will fucking just score for aggression, regardless of whether it's effective or not. And like, mate, a lot of people had like, "Oh, this fight's a draw," or "Porter's got it," and like the people in the crowd were booing when Thurman won. I was like, "What are you watching? Is this the people that saying that Maidana beat Floyd just because somebody was coming forward? That doesn't mean nothing." Thurman was constantly hitting him with the cleaner punches, and he was the better boxer. And I thought it was
fight. Where was this fight?
Barclays.
Barclays.
And that's nowhere near fucking Cleveland, Ohio, is it?
They love the Barclays, don't they, for the welterweights? They're always putting everything on there.
But they're saying that now it's took over for MSG, and they're also taking that. They're taking the
golden gloves that you love
golden
watching.
gloves. Who was it said that? Was that fucking Asylum? Was that Donnie in that?
No, you said last week you love watching the golden gloves.
Oh, right.
Seconds later, I don't know why I said that. I've never seen it.
Yeah, there's information coming right at you. But I didn't understand why they were booing at the end, as if like Porter's like, I thought I won, and the fans have gone fucking apeshit, and then Thurman's like, oh, I done the rope, I don't know, and they're like, boo, going fucking mental.
Yeah, it must have been a really pro Porter crowd, because I mean, I thought I had it 8-4 Thurman, 7-5. Couldn't have seen Porter winning that at all.
I saw quite a few draws on the timeline, but I never saw any Porter wins. It was mostly just Thurman or draw.
Yeah, a close but clear fight, I felt.
A few of the Yanks had Porter winning. But the boxing rant had him winning, didn't they?
No, I thought that, but they didn't.
I thought you said they did.
What about Dab Dab? What was his card?
Dab Dab had Frank Warren. He had Frank Warren running a 12-round decision.
Yeah, Liam Smith knocking them both out.
What did Jackson Park have? Because if it's a draw, I don't know what happens to the belt, personally.
Fucking Jackson Park, man. You're the shape of a light bulb, you big fucking tit.
Perfect time to bring in press pass, isn't it?
Yes, bring him in. Light
bulb. He's on.
Sink.
Talk press pass.
Yo.
You big fucking streak of pish, man. Hey, fucking press pass. Hey!
We're getting an echo off someone.
Press pass.
Hold on.
I'll mute myself.
The echo's off press pass.
How can you possibly know?
Because I can see it popping up on your name.
Hold on. Come back to me in a minute.
For fuck's sake.
When he's got his mic off, basically.
He's just got his broadband bill. He's shitting.
Right, Jared Todd won a TKO.
Good knockout, man.
The see the thing is with this fight, man, it was impressing me, and I noticed right away that he was doing the shoulder roll. But I thought that every round was the same, and I got to the 5th round, I was like, I can't fucking keep doing this, so I just fast forwarded to the knockout.
Well, Hurd's a good fighter. Do you remember we mentioned it last week, and we said he's a sort of prospect to watch. He's a good sort of rangy fighter, and didn't he knock Molina down in the first round?
Oh, that right uppercut for hell, man! Oh, it was fucking sweet.
He put him down quite heavy in the first round, and then after that, he really, like you said, Brian, it was the same round again and again. And he actually said after the fight, I had no intention of trying to knock him out. I just wanted to do the rounds and to prove that I could sort of comfortably beat this guy. Yeah. And he actually wasn't looking for the stoppage at all. And I don't know.
I didn't want to force the stoppage. That's what it says.
Yeah. And then the referee waved it off, didn't he? In the end. I can't find this picture of Frotch playing the flute. It's really annoying. Been looking for like half an hour.
Regis Progress won a 4-round knockout. I don't know him, but I've heard them name mentioned. David, I'm looking for this. The head of Hardy, she won it all.
Yeah, it was only the two fights were televised, I think.
Why is press pass on here?
Press pass. What are you doing here?
Just trying to see if my audio is working now.
No, why are you here?
Don't know. You mentioned me 7 times in the first 30 minutes of the pod.
It's because our listenership hates you, and it's one of the only things they enjoy us talking about.
Do you know what I thought the listenership would enjoy is having the 2 least favourite people in the world of boxing, me and Sam Shepard, on the same podcast together. Like Brian's a hero. You're hated like me. You are the next big pod version of Press Pass Paul.
Except with more knowledge.
Yeah, except I've got 11 more points than you in the predictions, haven't I?
Hey, mate,
you walked into that press pass.
I did 13 points. 13 points from the last 2 weeks, man. I'm catching you up.
And I got 16, you fucking idiot. I got more than you.
Hey, turtle in the hair, not turtle in the hair. I don't know what the fucking thing is.
Yeah, you're talking about a fable where the hair wins and the turtle fucking loses.
Oh, is that how it ends? Fuck's sake! I should have gone to uni like you. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I did fable studies.
Wait, well, fucking at an hour 35, man. We've not even
We've got some questions. Right. A few.
I know. We'll get to the fucking questions. We just need to kind of get through some of this stuff. Like Tyson Fury, scumbag. Press pass. You're not jumping in this because I think you're just fucking way overboard with him. But
that's why press pass should have his opinion, because it'd be fun.
Fuck me. Let's see. Every cunt mute herself then with this echo. See the fact that he said that he's got an injury, which I felt was bullshit anyway. And then he goes over to France and he's fucking jumping about like a loony. There's a time and a place to fucking do stuff, and he shouldn't be doing that because it just makes the fans look absolutely fucking stupid. I'm pretty sure it was Asylum. No, was it Asylum or the North Pod that says that somebody was fucking flying over for Italy and they're losing a couple of grand. That's fucking bullshit. And let's see if they do put it somewhere else. Let's say they change it to another date. It doesn't fucking matter. You might get your hotel money back, but people have paid for fucking flights and all that, and he's over partying in France. Sit in the fucking house, you dumb fucking prick. I mean, I know there's stuff about the steroids here, right? And if it was like fucking Joshua, I'd be singing and dancing, right? But I can't really kind of say nothing because we don't know if it's fucking bullshit. I know because there's only one fucking paper running with the story. I don't even know if anybody else has even mentioned it yet, but I'll stick with the fight now. That's just another fucking fight that's been pulled out with an injury, and he's over there fucking partying France. I think it's fucking funny, like buying Jaeger bombs. It is funny. It would be funny if he wasn't supposed to be fighting in a couple of weeks, but he's no. He should have had some sort of fucking diplomacy and a bit of respect to his fans and whoever, like he's promoting all that, and no fucking go and jump about like a knob.
Brian, I haven't read the story because was it in the Mirror, wasn't it, or something originally?
Yeah,
I haven't read the original story. I know roughly, what's been alleged. So it hasn't been reported anywhere else yet.
Well, but UCADA responded to it.
What did they say? That they're investigating? Or?
No, UCADA said the exact same thing they did about Kid Galahad. They used the line, "We don't discuss ongoing investigations and for legal reasons." That's exactly the same thing they said about Galahad. They literally, it was the statement from UCADA was word for word the same for Barry as it was for Tyson.
Well, yeah, but I mean that just all that means is that they're looking into it, doesn't it? It could still be complete. I don't know.
Well, obviously, yeah. I mean, because it's an older sample as well, so this isn't something that they took, last month. This is obviously something that was taken before the Hammer fight, so it's still very much up in the air. The only reason why the Mirror reported it is because obviously UCADA wouldn't leak it. The British board wouldn't leak it. It's only going to have come from somebody in Fury's camp, not necessarily one of the Furies, but someone that knows them and knows there's a potential problem. Obviously, it's still very much up in the air. The only thing with what they've taken is, I saw some people mention about Hughie Fury's condition, but the steroid that's been taken, there is no there's no reason at all why nandrolone would be taken for acne or for any skin-based condition. It's actually a prescribed steroid for females, but one of the main benefits is it's a tissue grower, which it doesn't necessarily mean muscle, but it certainly does help with bulk and strength. That's the idea of it anyway. But like you say, it's very early stages. But as Brian said earlier, if this was Anthony or Femi, as you like call him, you guys would be jumping up and down on it.
Yeah, to that segment now, mate.
Be honest, Paul. How overjoyed are you that this story's come out? I can hear it in your voice. You are so happy that Fury has potentially been busted.
Do you know what? I'm mixed on it. The thing, you all know I don't like Tyson Fury in the same way that you don't like Joe Gallagher, But
Joe Gallagher fucks dogs. So.
Yeah, but but Tyson Fury likes dogs. But I don't want to see Tyson Fury lose in a courtroom, or I want to see him, or just get a letter and have his belt taken off him from a ban. I want to see him fight and lose in the ring because I don't like him. However, yeah, I'll be honest. When I first heard, I was pretty happy about it. But you know what? Another way, I'm not, because it doesn't matter who it is, whether I like the fighter or not. I mean, it makes no difference. Another boxer potentially being caught for drugs. It just makes the sport look bad, and it makes us all look stupid that we follow a sport that seems to have such an endemic problem. And obviously the way that Fury's reacted to it by going over to France, I don't really mind that so much. He doesn't really care about his fans, but I mean, no one says he has to. He's never pretended.
Why would you say that, Press Pass? Why would you say you don't care about his fans? Explain.
Well, he's got an injured ankle, Sam, and he's jumping up and down singing "Will Griggs on Fire" outside
a bar. He loves his country. That's why.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
The patriot. Sorry.
I know, but if none of us have bought tickets to the show in 2 weeks, but we've all probably been there, I imagine. I mean, who have bought tickets and arranged travel for fights that haven't happened. I had tickets for the Hay Fury fight when that got cancelled, and when you've made time and effort, some people will have booked time off work. The least you can do, like I don't know if it was Brian, that said it, is just lay low for a while. Just stay quiet for a couple of weeks, talk about how you want to get back in the gym, and then how you're going to reschedule the fight. Instead, I'm sorry, he doesn't look like someone upset that he's lost a big fight. He doesn't look like someone who's particularly badly injured. And I think everyone would probably say the same, seeing him move around them.
I kind of agree. I think he should be sat at home wearing black, crying. Just give that impression that he's really, really disappointed, because that's obviously what you want.
Well, I know it's not that's right, but he's obviously not disappointed. There's nothing about his reaction
or
Henry.
It's just going to happen later on. It's not like he's lost it.
I know, but why? Like I said, the reason they said there's no talk about a date, he's not come out and said anything. It's just been a case of, yeah, I've got my ankle's injured, and that's that. And then obviously he knew these reports were going to come out in the Mirror. There's no way this was a surprise to him, because newspapers like that don't print stories, even shitty tabloids like the Mirror, without getting at least an attempt of a quote from the person they're doing the story. And it's the same thing.
Do you not think it's a case of he might be so frustrated that for the fourth time in his career in a massive fight, it's been cancelled with an injury, whether the injury's real or not. Let's assume it is. He's got an injury, same as the first two Hay fights. It's another big fight cancelled, and he just wants to, fuck off for a while, forget about training, and go and have some fun. I mean, you can sort of understand it, can't you? I mean, at least he's not
absolutely
sort of cheating on his wife or anything.
No, do you know what? I absolutely agree. But the thing is, we all want, and again, you might not believe us, but we all want Tyson Fury, I presume, to win the rematch, because I want to see Fury Joshua. Now, Tyson Fury taking time out, spending lots of money, drinking in bars, even if he's got an injured ankle, he can still be in training. He can still be doing other things. And it just seems that he's harming his own chances more than anything else. And that's my point. Obviously, do you know what? It makes him a bit of a legend. Fans over there think he's great, and a lot of fans do like him. But I just don't see how taking effectively what would have been a week out of training when your fight potentially could be rescheduled as early as September. We're only talking 2-3 months away. It seemed a bit of a silly manoeuvre to me. I didn't expect him to sit in his room wearing black, but just to take it easy, and especially now he's going to be very much in the public spotlight. And the thing with the drugs was the Hennessy statement was just so bizarre. It was just a case of saying, well, we're a bit baffled by this, but there was no, we're going to sue the Mirror, we're going to like Frank Warren would probably do one of his guys. It seemed almost like they knew the report was coming out and they're just working out how best to deal with it.
Well, Peter Fury said something today, more along them lines. We just get it up.
See, I don't know what weight Fury is, right? But see, my worst, I was nearly 20 stone, right? And I went over my knee, then I went over my ankle, and I done my ligaments, right? And see my ankle didn't fucking bruise as badly as that picture showed, right? But I couldn't go to work for 2 weeks because it was tender as fuck, and every time that I was kind of coming off his stairs and all that, I was panicking a bit, obviously because I was fucking massive and I was putting strain on my joints and stuff, but there is absolutely no...
massive as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There is absolutely no danger that he is basically fucking bruised that foot that much and he can basically go to France like a couple of days, a week later, and he's walking about, not even get a limp or nothing. Because I tell you, see if that's bruised like that, he's done some sort of, he's strained ligaments or something, and you cannot fucking, you cannot walk on it. It's agony.
Peter Fury said this: those accusations are being dealt with by our legal team at the moment. For legal reasons, we can't comment. It's safe to say they'll all be dealt with in the near future, and the knowledge will be made public as well.
Well, what I will say is, fucking Brown says the exact same shite, and look what happened there.
But there is a precedent of they genuinely can't say anything until, if he was coming out with an excuse about, let's say, his brother in prison spiking his drink or whatever, then I would be saying, yeah, this guy's guilty. But I always feel like if they come out with an incredibly strongly worded denial immediately, that always strikes me as quite a bit of a red flag as well, because it's like, why do you have to sort of shut them down and shout down their throats? Why don't you just let them present their evidence and then everyone can see that it's bullshit? Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
The thing is, though, there's been the amount of fighters, I suppose. I'm sure I was trying to think of people who have had or have been reported to have failed a test, and then it turns out that for one reason or another they actually haven't, or the B sample's been okay. And there's been a few. I mean, there's been a few quite recently, obviously, with the whole Povetkin mess that was. But more often than not, if a fighter has failed a test, or the reports have been that a fighter's failed, then they have. It's just the timing that's very frustrating, because if he's the same thing like Erkan Tepe when he got caught. He was caught, but it wasn't made public, and he'd already served his ban, so he could still fight again anyway. And I don't know if Fury would find himself in that kind of situation if he is guilty, because if it was Hammer, that was what, 2014, early 2015? I can't even remember.
2015, it was last year.
Yeah. I mean, if the ban, say, is, I don't know, a year from then, or however they want to do it, he could be, even if he does get caught, it might not really affect his career that much. He just may well lose the belt, which obviously wouldn't be ideal. And that's why it makes it so surprising that obviously he did pull out the original fight, and as Brian said about 2 weeks not being able to walk with an injury, this injury happened 10 days before it was reported. So it's not like he's had weeks and weeks of time to recover. It's only been just over a week and a half.
Nandrolone's been on the ban list for ages as well, and it's not going to be like a supplement that they just
no.
It. Yeah.
No, it's not like
Linford Christie got popped for it, didn't he, in like 1999 or something?
During the late 80s, it was a drug that was taken quite a lot, and a lot of Olympic athletes or athletes in general got caught taking it out. And it's not actually one that's all that common with boxers, because it is meant to be quite an obvious one to fail. It's something that shows up on even some of the because in America some of the testing systems are quite weak, but it shows up on pretty much everything. And it's like I said, it's not like, sometimes when you get fighters and they've taken, say, a supplement which has got something in or something from the wrong country. There's no murky area with nandrolone. You're taking it for one reason only, and that is to try and improve something about your body which isn't natural.
But if it's both
nandrolone,
of them,
go on, mate.
If it's both of them, which it is, I don't think they're that stupid enough to just openly do it, because they always seem like they got their head switched on it, and they constantly think the world's against them anyway. I don't think they'd give anyone anything on them.
Well, the thing is, sorry, Alex, come on.
I was going to say about nandrolone, the thing is, the way they worded it is that it was unacceptable amounts of nandrolone. Surely, if nandrolone, that implies that there's an acceptable amount that you're allowed to have, and nandrolone isn't a binary drug. It isn't a case of, if you've got nandrolone in your system, you're done.
Because but that's the same as all of them.
No, there are drugs that are like that. That are, if you've got any of this in your substance, even the tiniest trace, you're done. But they're saying nandrolone isn't like that.
Yeah, right, Alex. Because there's no natural way to get it in your system, is there? There's no legitimate way to end up with it inside your bloodstream. Whereas, like saying there's unacceptable levels of testosterone, something like that, like Peterson had. Testosterone is natural. He just had way too much of it, which was suspicious. Whereas, you don't naturally have nandrolone floating around,
Well, you sort of.
But they're implying acceptable amounts.
Yeah, you sort of, both of you are sort of right there, because nandrolone is not a natural substance in the body, but there are other chemicals or other things that you could have taken which will have traces of it. But I believe, reading up on it, that the acceptable level for nandrolone is very, very low. In the same way that for things like mercury level and stuff like that, there are certain things which you will get from, it could be 101 things. You could get it from sort of like even stupid things like hair products or daft things like that, which have certain chemicals in. But this isn't one of those kind of cases. I think it's a very, very low level that they class as acceptable.
Yeah. To compare it to Lucas Brown with clenbuterol, that is a binary drug. If
Absolutely.
you have any clenbuterol in your system, even trace, you're done.
But like I said, going back to my original point, if it's true, I think it's a real shame, because as much as I can't stand the bloke, a lot of people loved the fact that this big, loudmouth guy who says what he wants and does what he wants pulled off an unbelievable upset, completely changed heavyweight boxing, and the idea that potentially wasn't quite as sort of clean as what we thought, I think will be it's a real knock to the sport in general, as well as those fans. So I for one, hope he passes.
The heavyweight division, it drags the name of the heavyweight division through the mud at a time when guys like AJ are campaigning for a clean sport. Look at the guy, no corners cut at all. How can you sit there criticising Fury when look at the state of fucking AJ?
Yeah, but I'm saying, but AJ, listen, AJ, those photos from him at the Olympics, he's put on several stone. He looks like a different person. I'm not denying that, but my thing is, I know he's been tested, and
but
the British,
every cunt gets tested.
Yeah, so exactly. I'm saying, but people that get tested fail. So it's not like the British system is infallible. And Anthony Joshua has only fought inside. He's never fought outside the UK.
Paul, for a guy that knows what he's talking about with drugs, that is, I think you're being deliberately naive there, because it's quite obvious that AJ is on something.
But if you're fighting,
you can't go down the route of he's never failed a test, so he's.
No, it's one of you can judge it by right. You talk about appearances, right? Look at two high-profile guys that failed drugs tests, Tony Thompson and Erkan Tepe. None of them exactly strike you as body beautiful, do they? I don't think you can base it just solely on appearance. I'm not saying Joshua's not taking anything. He may well be, for all I know. I don't know. I'm not in his camp. I don't know him. But He fights 3 to 4 times a year. He's tested within those camps. It's not like he's taking a year out. It's not like he's given his body lots of time to potentially cycle out drugs. Well, he is for the next, well, potentially, but we're only talking, what, 5 months? And the way...
enough time.
So this is the thing. The cycling thing is mostly a joke and us pissing about. You don't need to cycle with these fucking microdosing and shit like that. He can be doing it anytime he fucking wants. He could take it the morning of the fucking fight and be absolutely fine. If you've got the top scientists working for you, and the top money guys do have the top scientists, look at Floyd Mayweather for an example of that. You can do what you want.
The guys with the money, Alex, they're 20 years ahead of the testers. Armstrong was 20 years. Armstrong was taking stuff that's cutting edge now 15 years ago. Do you know what I mean? Because he had access to the best doctors. And if anyone's going to have the red carpet rolled out for them, in boxing, it's going to be the next great heavyweight hope. And I'm not saying it's just Joshua. Of course it's not. But I would be absolutely stunned if he was subjected to every possible test, and he came up clean. And I'm sure that he's clever enough to avoid doing what Fury did, or taking something stupid like Enzo did, from a supplement. But I've never seen a guy look like that naturally, ever. Not even close to that.
The thing is, though, Shep, when me and Alex have had this discussion on the Asylum numerous times, the problem is it does come across quite naive when I say it, but if we're and I think Alex is very much on the side of the assumption of the majority are guilty, you just start to question everything, and that's why sometimes I think I'm a bit head in the sand sometimes about the drug issue, because if you look at so many fighters, you could make cases for an awful lot of them potentially being on something, not just by their appearance, but by their sudden improvement in endurance, their sudden strength as they're going up through weights. It's whether you're in England or anywhere.
Body shape.
Yeah, but like I said, what do? Do you assume that everyone's cheating and everything you're watching is a load of bollocks, or do you just presume the testers do their job? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one.
Well, I think
the testers do their job.
If you look at history, there are several precedents when it comes to incredibly valuable athletes like Joshua, who are very, very valuable in specific markets, where they have failed tests, and I'm not going to accuse him because the guy never failed technically, but there were always the rumors about Floyd having tests covered up by Nevada because he was so valuable. We've just had a question in. The other famous one was in the 80s with the the LA Olympics, where what was that, 84, where famously everyone was wearing braces all of a sudden because they'd all been on fucking human growth hormone the entire time, and there were so many rumors about guys getting popped, and then it's turned out recently in the last 5 years it's been announced that Carl Lewis failed 3 tests during the 80s, and every single time USADA covered it up because he was too valuable to lose from the Olympic team, from their endorsements and everything else. Do we really believe, and this isn't me being, this is an honest question, do we believe if AJ failed a test, the BBBFC would make it public, or would they cover it up? And
it's not the board that make that decision, though, is it?
No, actually, it wouldn't be up to them. But
if they could cover it, would they? Do you think?
No.
If they thought they could get away with it,
that's the exact question I asked to Michael Conlon.
I don't think they would.
I think they would. They covered up fucking Thompson when they knew he was fucking guilty.
There is proof they've covered people in other sports before who were less valuable than Joshua.
I think it's hard to do now, though, especially about the internet age. All it takes is some idiot to tweet something who just comes across a letter that you shouldn't see just walking through an office.
It doesn't matter. Gabe Montoya fucking did that with Floyd, and no cunts followed that up.
Well,
Gabe Montoya had an email saying that you should cease and desist any rumour of Floyd failing 3 tests, and he had never heard of that before. They implied to him that Floyd had failed 3 tests out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, and no one had ever said 3 before, had they? And then they kind of gave their hand away and went, "Can everyone stop talking about these 3 tests?" And they were like, "We never said 3 tests."
Yeah, you guys said
exactly. It was a complete. It was. I think it was probably a cover-up. Again, you're not going to accuse the guy because he was never caught. But if they could, and I mean it, Paul, because the precedent, the historical precedent, has always been an athlete who is unbelievably valuable in a specific territory or a specific country, and AJ fits the bill 100% at the moment. Do you remember that guy who got popped in the '88 Olympics? Do you Ben Johnson? Do you remember the guy who won the sprint final and his eyes were like yellow?
The Canadian.
Do you remember? It was the Canadian guy. Yeah. And it was just like you looked at him and you were like, yeah, that guy's got like. He's literally got like cat eyes. This is mental, and he just ran 100 meters in like 8 seconds. And they always said on the documentaries about that, if those Olympics had been in Canada, they would have covered it up. Of course they would have done. But it's just happened that those Olympics were in, on the other side of the world. And I think in the UK, I mean, it would have to be. It would have to be such a fuck.
The corruption spreads further than the drugs. Look at Joshua's Olympic campaign for the beginning. He got two robberies.
Thing is, I think
in the beginning.
Things are the only thing I'll say is I couldn't sort of say for UKADA because I mean, and like any of these drug sanctioning bodies, what their scruples are, what their morals are like. But let me tell you, from speaking to and knowing a few people that have worked within the British Boxing Board, trust me, if they had a chance to show off what they're doing in terms of testing, because the amount of money and the amount of faff that the board has to go with testers, the issues they have with promoters who don't want their guys tested, and like I said, I think I said to you before in the chat, some of the shit that you see backstage at shows with guys trying to duck out of tests, or it's unbelievable. The board, I don't think, would have any issue hanging someone out to dry, and the Matchroom and the British Boxing Board of Control aren't super tight. It's not. You have to remember this is a board that was saved by Frank Warren, and that Eddie Hearn gets very, very frustrated with some of the decisions that the board makes. So with the referees, judges, everything else. So I don't think they'd have any trouble hiding it. And do you know what? Even if Joshua, let's say Joshua does fail, Joshua is the biggest name in British boxing right now. But there are plenty of other decent names, not as big as, but there were bigger names than him before, and there will be massive names after. I mean, I've said the other day that I think Joshua will lose one of his next 5 fights. I think the idea that Sky pinning everything on him is absolutely ridiculous. You can't do that with a heavyweight, I don't believe. So if he did fail, I don't think it would be covered. But what you can question, and what Alex certainly questions, is the structure and whether the science from the cheaters is just far too advanced for what the testers can come up with, and that might be right.
Former chemists have admitted
it. That's been accepted for 20 years within sports, hasn't it, Alex? I remember hearing Brian Kenny talking about that in baseball. He was saying the stuff that they were getting popped for in the late 90s, they'd had it since the early 80s. Like, the testers were 15 years behind.
Well,
do you know
Charles said to us, I remember Charles saying that we were talking steroids with him, and he was saying that some of the steroids that some of the lads that are popping for now, they were doing back in the 80s, like the big heavyweights and stuff. They were fucking using that shit all the time. I think we were talking to them about Lucas Brown and shit.
Basically, I think Paul, I could summarise my position in. And again, I've got no proof. I won't come out and outright accuse the guy. But I think there are certain fighters who, in particular areas, so Joshua in the UK, Canelo in Vegas, Floyd in Vegas, places like this, where they are too big to fail. Do you know what I mean? Where like the system is entirely sort of calibrated for their benefit because everything is hung on them and their success. And I just think for Joshua to get caught in the UK, like something would have to go so badly wrong on every stage of the drug testing process.
There's no incentive for anyone to out him. The media love him. They love talking about him in a positive light as this humble hero. They're not vindictive out to get him like they are with Tyson Fury. So they're not going to report any fucking incident like that. Because they're happy to have him as this poster boy of British fucking sport.
Just like there was no incentive for anyone to get Klitschko in Germany all those years, was there, Alex? And again, I'm not saying he was on drugs, but I'm just saying there wouldn't have been any reason for anyone to want to catch him because he was bringing these huge fights to Germany. He was carrying boxing in Germany, and it was just like, it was too many people. It was a good thing for too many people for anyone to want to rock the boat. Yeah, I know.
I think the drug issue in British boxing isn't your Frank Warren shows, your Matchroom shows. I don't see it in the same way that you guys do. For me, what I know is it's small hall stuff. I think it's guys that are completely out of the spotlight that might only fight twice a year. I think there's so much area for cheating in that sort of circumstance.
Like Lennox Clark.
No, Lennox Clark is natural power, baby. July the 9th, man. Lennox Clark's comeback. I cannot wait to see which Polish guy he knocks out. It's going to be fantastic.
Right, we've done this fucking shit to death. Let's move on. Like, Shep, you've got some questions. Like,
yeah, I've got a few. Give me 1 sec to load them up.
Right, get the questions. Right. Is he just before that? Like, he just gets the questions. Like, fucking Canelo ducked GGG. And he's fighting fucking Liam Smith. I mean, like, I had this kind of...
Dad just got triggered.
I don't know. Mark McFarlane kind of had a back and forth for me saying it was a good fight, and I don't think he fucking understood where I was coming from. I wasn't saying that it wasn't good for Liam Smith, but I'm saying that it's fucking shocking that the lineal middleweight champion says that he was going to fight Golovkin, go to the fucking... he was able to fight Cotto on the presumption that he was going to fight him next. And I'm blaming Golovkin for this as well, so I'm not fucking giving him a pass, right? But then Golovkin gave him a pass to fight Khan on the assumption that he was going to fight him this September. And now he's done it again and says, I'll fight you next September. And he's going to go back down to the weight that he says he couldn't fight. And I always had this opinion that Canelo was fighting at 155 because there was no cunt at 154 other than the black slick fighters that were all behaving, and there was no chance of him probably winning a fucking belt, or it was the nightmare division to be in, and he just hung at 155 to bring some people up that division or to get the Cotto fight. It was never, at no point was he going to fight Golovkin. And what's he done? He waits for the fucking shittest of champions. The guy has probably got the worst fucking resume in history he holding a fucking belt. No, so I tell a lie. It's not as bad as Charles Martin's, right? But his resume is fucking pathetic, Liam Smith's, right? Fair enough, he's taking the fight. He fucking shat at Fionndre. We all fucking know that. There is no excuse for him not... There's no excuse for him not have taken a fucking decent fight before then. There is absolutely no reason for it. He could have at least fought Sorrow. Sorrow was there. They shafted Sorrow to fight Thompson so for he could win that belt, right? They could have got Sorrow back over. What did they get fucking this specky cunt from Manchester who is fucking... He looked like a fucking Mongo, right? And then they go and get that fucking dick. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name. He's no fought any cunt in ages. So... Fair enough, Liam Smith's getting the fight, but all he done was you know what Liam Smith done? Liam Smith done a fucking Eddie Hearn, Joe Gallagher, fight fucking trash until they can catch the guy out. That is all they done. So Frank Warren's just basically done with an Eddie Hearn. So I'm not going to slag Liam Smith because you're always going to take that fight, but you shat it for everybody else. But Canelo, you are an absolute fucking pussy.
On Canelo,
absolute fucking pussy.
You know he's got the ring belt, which I don't know. Some people take it as a lineal belt, some people don't they?
Well, hold on, sorry, Sam.
Still be for that belt.
No. The ring's rules is if a champion of the ring belt moves to a different weight class, they get stripped. Do you think the ring will strip him?
I think they actually answered this. They said once that fight happens, they would look to make Golovkin versus. What's the rule? You have to fight someone in the top 5. Something like that.
Top 6.
So I think if the next time Golovkin fought someone in the top 5, maybe Saunders or whatever, that would be for the ring belt. But no, Doug Fisher was talking about
Canelo is still the lineal champion, and he's fighting for the lineal championship against Liam Smith at 154 because it's under 160.
Aye,
this is for the lineal middleweight championship.
Yeah.
You can't argue.
Look, Dab, seriously.
Canalo's been doing this for years, though. At least he's not fighting fucking welterweights anymore. Well, he wasn't.
I will fucking stick by this. Amir Khan fucking absolutely schools Liam Smith. Absolutely fucking schools him.
That's quite a good fight, actually.
It's not a good fight because Liam Smith.
No, it's a good fight at British, at like European level. Like it's well matched, I think.
But I mean, Dab, you turn around and say you'll eat your words when Smith goes 12. Who gives a fuck if he goes 12? He'll lose the 12 rounds. That's not
yeah, exactly. He'll get that fucking round, mate.
That's not competitive. See this, like Brazil done better than people expected. No, he didn't. He just fucking lasted longer, but took their fucking punishment. It was as shit as we all thought. Liam Smith will get fucking smashed off of Canelo, right? You're a wee fucking faggot, right? I don't know what it is. I hate Eddie Hearn, right? Every fucker knows that. I buy Box Nation, but you're a wee fucking fag. You don't even watch fights on fucking Sky because you hate Eddie Hearn. You're up fucking Frank Warren's ass. Frank Warren is the fucking worst promoter in Britain. The fucking worst. He puts absolutely fuck all on. shows. He doesn't promote no fucking shows. And you think every cunt on his fucking bill is good fighters. They're all fucking shite. Billy Joe Saunders isn't fighting no cunt either. You probably think he beats Golovkin. You probably think fucking Liam Smith fucking schools every cunt. You're a wee fucking dick, dab. Show your fucking face, honestly. So see if we ever see a fucking boxing match, we can batter your fucking cunt in. You're a wee fucking shite bag. You hide behind a fucking profile. You're a fucking pussy. Absolute fucking pussy.
That's the third week in a row we've had a dab monologue.
So you just don't get this kind of stuff. You don't get this on the asylum. This is amazing.
Brian brought up a good point though, which is how do we think the fight actually goes? I think Canelo would stop him in maybe like 8 or 9 rounds, something like that.
You'll eat your words when he goes 12.
Canelo's not going to fucking gas, which is what Joe Gallagher is going to need.
Well, I think Gallagher will do the old Murray Rios talk in the corner, won't he? Go on, give it 100%.
We'll see if Liam Smith's still smiling when he's taking shots when they're off Canelo. And not.
No, he'll not give a fuck, man. He's got retired money. It's the same as fucking Quick. Quick always goes on and goes, oh, I'm coming back in October. I want the rematch and all that, blah, blah, blah. He's not giving a fuck now. He's just fucking hanging off his fucking face and he's got over £1 million. That fucker left school at 13 and he's now got more money than me. He's dumb as fuck and he's set up for life. Liam Smith is the exact same. Oh,
yeah,
honestly,
it's a cash out.
Paul Smith, you're a fat bastard. See, you damn. I'm fucking raging because of you now. Fucking kill yourself. I'm going to finger your maw. That's what I'm going to do. And send you a fucking biney. We're putting 4 fucking fingers up like
Shep,
that.
have you got any questions, mate?
I've got, a couple. Actually, literally just a couple. Right, the first one is, Paul, I'll start with you on this one, and then we'll pass it round. I know you're off pay-per-views now, but if you have to pay for one of the 3, which one do you go for? Brook versus Vargas, Golovkin versus Eubank, or Joshua versus Parker?
Oh no, it's got to be Triple G Eubank. Because I think that Joshua Parker is. First of all, I don't think Parker's team are going to take that fight. Brook Vargas.
Wait, why?
It's a world title shot.
It's already been said they want more time. So I don't think that.
Parker said he fucking wants to fight next.
Parker's team have already. I'll try and find the link earlier. They already said after the last fight that they're not in a rush. Understandably so. There's no race. They've got a while before they have to be involved in a mandatory situation.
Well, they said they were going to schedule 2 more fights. They've already got 1. They'll fight again before the year.
Yeah,
he's fighting again.
Absolutely.
Then they'll fight next year. They'll have it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So they're not going to fight. If you're talking about the potentially coming up soon, that's a good fight though. But no, it'd be Triple G Eubank 100%. If I had to pay for one of the 3, just because it's with pay-per-view, it's about justifying the pay-per-view. And you could argue, and I do, and I have before, and I know I bought the Joshua one last time, that was my mistake, that you can't have a pay-per-view fight without an obvious reason why. Getting Golovkin, even though he's not a pay-per-view fighter in America, getting Golovkin over to the UK, for me, would justify it being pay-per-view. Yeah. I wouldn't be buying it because I'll be there. Now, there's an obvious financial reason why that has to happen. Now, they'd use the same argument for Vargas, for Brook, but Vargas is Vargas. He's not a massive name, and Brook can't sell an arena out. What I class as it's a very good fight, but it's not a big fight. Crowder Linares is a very good fight, but it's not a big fight. Eubank Triple G is a big fight. It's not probably. It's going to be very one-sided. So maybe Brook Vargas would be a better buy, but yeah, Triple G Eubank 100%. It's something so different, and I think it'll be one of Hearn's best manoeuvres if he does manage to pull this. I think
Eubank takes the biggest hiding. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'd agree with that. Well, I don't know. I have a feeling Parker might get the shit beaten out of him against Joshua.
But I reckon Parker could actually do something with Joshua, make him work harder.
Yeah.
A bit more defensive. Eubank, I can't imagine what he could do.
What does he do better than Golovkin? Nothing.
I'll save you on that. Nothing.
Exactly. What can he do to trouble Golovkin?
At least Saunders has quicker hands and could maybe box for a round or 2.
Yeah.
But Eubank's got absolutely nothing.
We've seen a big puncher against Golovkin. Lemieux tried to fucking swing his way and uppercut his way in against Golovkin, and we saw what fucking happened to him.
Eubank throws uppercuts from further away, which could be an advantage.
But what do you think? Which Jenks me or Sarah, like, the beating that Golovkin would give Eubank the first time his dad broke him in.
Well, I want to see how his dad behaves at ringside and stuff. Whether he makes it all about him somehow. I don't know how he'd do it. Maybe
Jenk, it was like basically like I don't know what age he was. Like he like just kind of fucking forced him down on the bed and like just kissed the back of his neck and all that. And like
I think his dad.
He wasn't around.
Don't try to talk over me when I'm fucking trying to talk about like, fucking somebody getting molested.
He's doing a sexual monologue, Kirby.
Do you not think Eubank Senior might pull him out if he's getting his cunt kicked in?
And he'll pull him out in the most ostentatious way. He'll
I bet he's never pulled it his in, boy.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
He'll stand up with a towel wrapped round his, wearing a towel and nothing else, and then take the towel off and throw it in.
Like they started red tape with Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, it'll be something like that. He'll do like a Val Venus on the ring apron, like with the towel.
Imagine. Smell my pipe, son.
Paul, I agree with you, and I think people overcomplicate the pay-per-view issue. And yeah, as far as I'm concerned, pay-per-view is for fights that are impossible to put on without the pay-per-view money, and it is impossible to get Golovkin over here for a regular Sky show. And I would, if I didn't buy a ticket and go and see it, I would get it on pay-per-view for sure, because he's the sort of guy. One of my friends texted me this week saying, I've heard rumours about Golovkin Eubank. Do you want to go if it gets made? And he's a guy who hasn't been to a fight since Froch Groves 2, and probably
tell him not to bother because he'll be taking tickets off people who do want to watch fights.
Thing is, though,
it'll be in an arena, mate. It'll be in a.
We all listen, right? This is one of those fights where us in the chat disagree on so many things. This is one of the few fights which I can't think any of us wouldn't want to go, even if it means having to go to Mongy, London. I'll still go because it's not a once in a lifetime, probably, because you may see Triple G over here again. You don't know, but this is a real getting to see someone like Golovkin in there. I suppose you'd probably have to say professional prime. I think, even though he's a bit older, I think he's about at his peak now because he's not struggling to make weight and he's on such a fantastic run that he's been on. Going up against someone who, the one thing you can say about Chris Eubank Jr., for all his faults, he's not boring.
Well, you might get to see Golovkin against Conor Benn in a couple of years as well, which will be, that will be, or Fowler. Fowler will end up taking Golovkin's soul, won't he, eventually?
The fucking Wolverine. See if Junior gets knocked out. Do you think like fucking Senior will discard him and bring in the other son that nobody knows?
The other brother, I can't remember his name.
Nathaniel Wilson's the other one.
Nathaniel Wilson?
Oh, he's got another. No, he's got another.
No, he's got a son called like Johnny Eubank.
Aye, the 17-year-old boy.
He's quite young. He was in the ring on Saturday night, and he's apparently, he's a fighter as well. Apparently, there's pictures of him like in the gym, and he's I don't know if he's going to turn pro, but it's another one in the.
Have any of you seen the pictures of fucking Tyson Fury's wee bro?
Yeah, he's massive, isn't he?
He's a fucking monster, man.
That's where the Nandroline's coming from, mate.
Yeah, they're just born with it, like in the womb, aren't they? They come out and they're like 4 foot tall, like press pass, basically.
The gypsies are all big cunts, and the birds have always got big fuck off massive tits. And I see that my gypsy wedding, man, they were all just fucking big, mad, filthy, big titted sluts.
They were virgins.
They were virgins too, and the fucking guys were
Mute him. I've got one more which feeds in nicely from Paul's answer, which is, let me just get it up. Basically, is Golovkin when was the last time a fighter as good as Golovkin, a sort of a AAA elite fighter, came to the UK to fight in their prime? Because I was thinking obviously Costa too, but he wasn't in his prime then when he came over.
McClellan?
Yeah, but McClellan was pound for pound actually, wasn't he, when he fought Ben? I suppose.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking sick over that. By the way, I hate McClellan because he's like his background to like dog abuse and all that, but I'm fucking sick over like we were fucking raped in an absolute prime monster because of fucking Ben, who was probably jacked up to the gills and all.
Yes, and the long count. He should have been knocked out in the first fucking.
Aye, but we missed out on like McClellan would have fought every fucker in that division, right? And he would have chased Roy Jones. Just think of the fights we fucking missed because of that.
He beat Roy Jones, didn't he, in the amateurs or something? I thought he'd beaten him before, hadn't he? I think.
His dad whipped him for that.
McClellan would have been Hall of Fame, 100%. And it's
a
real shame.
That's another father that molested his boy Roy Jones. Man, boxing's fucking right with Peter Films, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't think of any. McClellan, maybe.
Yeah, McClellan. Who have you had? I mean,
wouldn't McClellan have been maybe? It though?
But Kessler's not on that level, is he?
We go where they fought fucking Willie Casey.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's the point. Rigo's coming back over again.
The Casey version of Rigo was right before he won his world title, wasn't it? And that was proper prime. Well, I guess.
Well,
that was when Rigo was only 39.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's been any other obvious ones.
The best fighters brought to the UK.
Kiko Martinez.
No, but brought over in their prime though.
What was Jeff Lacey thought of at the time they brought him over for Kawasaki?
Mini Tyson.
Lacey was regarded about the same as someone like Spence is regarded now. So really good prospect, but not completely proven. Had knocked out a few people, but hadn't fought anyone really good yet. And then he got obviously absolutely robbed.
Did Tyson fight Bruno over here? But he would have been past it then, wouldn't he?
No, it's in America.
See, that's a kind of fucking decent question. You know how guy get put into the Hall of Fame, and we all know because his wife fucking hung him. Shite bag. Imagine losing the fucking fight with your wife. Anyway, see Floyd. There's another reason to like Floyd. Floyd didn't fucking take a beating off his own wife and got hung.
I've got one.
Do you think McClellan should have been in the Hall of Fame before Guy? Because regardless, fucking McClellan was far more talented, and I think McClellan. I tell you what, fucking hang his win over the 2 wins over Julian Jackson was better than him that fucking Gatti ever won.
Yeah, but it's all the fight of the years and stuff, isn't it? It's the Hall of Fame, not a Hall of Talent.
Well, let's get that right. Fucking his fights against no fucking.
Sorry, Brian, go on.
There was just fucking. Fuck that. Not in fact, it was a shite question. Fuck you, Jason. You've made me look a cunt.
I've got one outside.
Overpaid nonsense.
When Judah fought in Glasgow in like 2000, I
that was on the Tyson bout, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know Judah wasn't. He's not.
Dave Cockburn was on that card.
But that was prime Judah. Did he fight Junior Witter, or was that later? Was that the Witter fight? I forget. But anyway, that was peak Judah, and he fought over here. Strangely.
Bradley as well.
Barrera.
Barrera, when did Barrera come in?
Barrera wasn't in his plane. If I fucking can.
No, thank you. We'll put this on the pod account. It's one of my favourite fights ever. Barrera fought Paul Lloyd, some scouse shitbag.
That was a rape.
His corner pulled him out after 1 round. It's fucking amazing. The fight is on YouTube. I'll post it up after this fight. It's after the pod.
When was this?
This was about 2003, something like that. So
it was when Warren was promoting him.
Right, no, Paul, you remember this fight, right? You've seen it. You're not.
Yeah.
These guys, but it was. I'd say that was Barrera pretty close to his peak. It was. Had he beaten Naz then, or was it before?
This was before. This was way before then. So they brought him over. It was when Warren was doing some of his promotions over in the States, and he was managing Barrera, and they got him. It was a WBO, I think. It was a full world title.
It wasn't a world title fight. No.
Are you sure? I'm sure I'll check it. I thought it was for a belt. Anyway, yeah, put him in with Paul Lloyd, and he took it. It's one of the most incredible batterings you'll ever see. 3 minutes. Lloyd, I think Lloyd gets put down twice.
He gets put down twice on body shots, and his corner pull him out, and the entire crowd is just silent, and the commentators go, "Yeah, I wouldn't have liked to have seen him have another round, to be honest." It's 1 round. It's absolutely mental. He lands he cannot miss with any punch. But Barrera was, the way he was throwing, he looked pretty close to his prime. It was around the time he was fighting who was his face, Junior Jones and guys like that. It was maybe late 90s, 99, 2000, something like that.
They weren't in the prime, but fuck me, man! I've just totally fucking. Sergio Martinez and Winky Wright. They two fought over here.
Martinez fought here. He fought in Bristol, mate, and Manchester a couple of times. Yeah, he fought all over the place.
And fucking Winky Wright came over here and fucking schooled some cunt and all.
Alex, are you going to give me that? Barrera in 99?
Yeah, 99. It was Marco Antonio Barrera for the WBO Super Bantamweight title.
I'd say
Ricky Hatton was on that card. Ricky Hatton was on that undercard, 11-0. Fucking Danny Williams, 15-0 for the British title against Julius Francis. Not bad. No other particular.
I'm not asking that question, Callum, because these fucking pricks hate Cotto.
What is it? Go on, ask it.
Who would have won against Hatton Cotto at 140?
Hatton would have made it quit. Easy.
Yeah.
I always wanted
Negro would have took a knee.
Yeah, Negro wouldn't have been able to keep up with the pressure.
Honestly, that fight would have actually been incredibly good. And
fuck
close. Like, I think that depends where. If that's in the UK, Hatton takes the decision. If that's in New York, I think Cotto takes the decision.
See, the thing is, though, Cotto was fucking really killing himself to make that weight. He wasn't a big welterweight, but he was fucking huge at 140.
Yeah, but Hatton 140 was, you know, he never lost at 140, did he?
I always wanted that. I've told you the story.
Pacquiao smashed him at 140.
Was that 140 or 140?
Yeah,
it was 140.
Oh, okay.
So that doesn't count. No, that was after fucking Floyd
took a dive, and Coogan drugged him in the camp anyway.
Was Cotto
Coogan was buying him sniff.
That was, wasn't it?
Huh?
Was it Cotto beat the piss out of Paulie Malignaggi at 140?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Paulie actually won a few rounds in that fight, and Cotto tried to quit, but the rest...
Fuck's sake, man! They've made the right content. Kovalev, he was on wheels.
Yeah, but he wasn't prime then, was he?
Well,
no, he wouldn't have been.
That was
he wouldn't have been prime then.
He's not looked any fucking better. He's just looked the exact same.
He was coming off. Sam,
that was pretty much prime.
He was coming off like 5 knockouts in a row.
It's not like bringing over It's not like bringing over GGG now, is it? Kovalev didn't understand in the sport he does now.
But
no one knew who he was.
He was standing though. That's the thing.
No. People did know. Come on, people did know who he was. Like, you know, people were excited about that fight.
He was still unproven.
Kovalev was very hyped. But since then, he's been old man by Hopkins, so maybe he's not. That's the 5th time I've made that joke.
Oh, God. Do you know what? I've not brought up your fucking Bradley Rios pick once.
Yeah,
you know, because I'm not. Fucking awful. But no, to be fair, the only reason I didn't pick Kovalev is because the same reason I suppose Terence Crawford's gone on to be a fantastic fighter, but at the time, he was a mandatory. We had Tim Bradley over here, if you remember. Tim Bradley came over and Junior Witter.
I tell you, just before we finish, you mentioned Crawford. Have you seen the 30-day weigh-in?
Yeah, he's 150.
150, and they're both the same weight, aren't they?
Postale's 145.
Really?
I don't know how. He must be a skinny bastard.
He's on the wild card direct.
He is pretty skinny, to be honest.
But 145 at 6'2", and he's fucking 30 days out, so he's only got 5 points to lose in a month.
But Brian
Postole,
isn't he? Postole at the press conference, he doesn't look like he put any weight on.
He's just a lanky streak of piss, that's what he is.
Yeah, he looks like he walks around about.
Press pass, you could fucking have empathy with him, couldn't you, big streak of dick?
Hey, us tall people sit together. Do you know what I got followed by earlier? On Twitter, a website called tootall.com. They make like clothes for lanky weirdos like me. Like people are actually searching out how much of a tall freak I am on Twitter.
What have you been
Macho
Googling?
Grande, you keep fucking posting shit about Ali. This was the 60s, fuck's sake.
That's how they get you. That's
Who's
how
saying
those
that,
accounts get you, Paul. Is because you search for specific stuff on like Amazon and that, and then the accounts will follow you with the algorithms. What have you been searching for?
Shoes that fit giants.
Okay. Paul, I'm going to leave you with. I feel a bit bad because I've just repeatedly iced you on tonight's pod, so I'm going to leave you with a little nugget to say sorry, which is the knowledge that I actually did pick cleverly to beat Kovalev. And had some money on it when they fought.
Do you know what? And there's nothing wrong with that, because as much as I've made some 2 very famous bad predictions, there are so many people who don't make predictions. And if the one thing this prediction league has forced us lot to do is to say, I'm picking this guy. There's too many people like Tommy Allen who pick both people and then claim.
What's even worse than that is when someone knows they're picking the wrong guy, they don't think they're going to win. But if the miracle happens and they are right, they can fucking gloat about it.
Oh,
prick. Like that
do you know what?
Boxing does it all the fucking time.
Because you can pick like 8 awful picks in a row, and then you pick 1 6-1 underdog, and you think you're the fucking messiah. And like I said, I've always learnt to not pick against certain people anymore because they always make me look stupid. And I picked against Bernard Hopkins so many times that my world famous Hopkins will old man Kovalev, as Shep reminds me of on a daily basis at least 4 times. But listen, it's easy to just sit on the fence and do a Coogan, but to actually put out and say I think this person's going to win. And Frankie Gavin has let me down.
Is the only Coogan will always just say like, oh, it's a tough fight and never make a prediction. But the one time he actually did make a prediction was that he said Bellew would stop Makabu, and I don't know if he was just saying that because Bellew was sitting next to him, but he actually, he did get that one right. So we've got to give him credit.
Can we start calling him Grugan from now on?
No, on that
note. Don't explain that joke on the air, seriously.
On that note, I'd just like to say fucking Coogan was selling fucking heart and sniff, but anyway. That's us fucking finished. I would like to thank Press Pass, but you're a prick, so I'm no. It's good that Alex jumped back on. Good.
Yeah, welcome back, Alex, to your first dearest podcast.
Aye. Cal was on. He fucked off because Press Pass came on. We lost about 20 fucking viewers or not because they Press Pass. Fuck you Press Pass, mate. Sam was on. Shep. I've been your host, Brian King.
Follow us, Brian. Do the shout out.
Subscribe to the iTunes and
leave
the
a review.
YouTube video. Leave a review. I don't care if it's a bad one. I left the Asylum a fucking horror. Don't know.
Yeah, leave a 1-star on the Asylum. Please.
Oh, it was a fucking horror show, man. I ripped every cunt. The listeners are looking back up because they think the Press Pass is away. And like the video, tell your friends, and tell every cunt I'm looking for a bud because I'm showing for my hole.
We've not done a preview because are we off or are we still on?
No, but we might fucking jump back on. I might be getting interviews, but anyway, Lennox Clark shagged fucking Press Pass's bud.
Lennox Clark TBE.
Get following at Midlands Boxing.
Coogan is grey.
Eat my ass. Bye bye.